Be cool, be kind, be classy. The cupcakes so sweet and sexy. Have fun, enjoy the journey. Or just have a good attorney. No big whoop, no biggie. She lives near New York City. And not just a YouTube show. When you know, you better grab a straw. Learn about the law. It's cool here in the shade. Sipping motions and lemonade. Cool heads will prevail, kindness will never fail. Be classy and vastly wise. Oh, Melanie Little is going live. Oh no, where is Melanie? Follow the island's melody. There's a concert within reach. No surprise, she's at Jones Beach. She heard some music far away. Captain Jack Stack Harbor Bay. He sings and his piano plays. Not all sounds are waterways. Speaking Yiddish and Latin, it's not just for Manhattan. It's for Goethe and Machegas. Ridiculous that insanus. Oy vey, Marcus. Proset, that's for schmucks. Be cool, be kind, be classy. My cupcakes are sweet and sassy. And not just a YouTube show. When you know, you know. Cool heads will prevail. Kindness will never fail. Be classy and vastly wise. Melanie Little is going live.
Good morning. Good morning, my friends. Happy Monday. It's just another manic Monday. Today's Monday, September 29th, 2025. And where did September go? What's up, my friends? Are you feeling like you've lost touch with reality, that you don't know what's real and what's fake? Are you feeling like there's a little too much drama and your head's going to pop off and you've got a headache, like there's two ice picks on either side of your head and you're just like, stop the noise, I want to get off. Stop the ride, I want to get off. You're not alone, my friends, you're not alone. But hey, Long Island friends, if you're around today, head on over to Bethpage because all the Ryder Cup merch is half price. Look what I got. Look at this awesome Ryder Cup t-shirt. Sweatshirt. Check this out. Look, and it's got the patch on the side. Oh, wait, somewhere over here. There's a patch, a Ryder Cup patch. Everything on sale. There's tons of it. Tons of it. Scott changes his name again. Betteros Mont Blanc. I was there early, so I got there right when the doors opened. Right when the doors opened at 9 a.m. And it's cashless. So if you're gonna go over there, don't bring cash because they don't take cash. But there's tons of stuff, and everything's half off. Lululemon, all of it. All of it. So get on over there. I got a Stanley Cup. I got a sweatshirt. I got a Lululemon jacket for my daughter. I got some hats. I got some pullovers. I got all of this stuff and things because, it's not always that the Ryder Cup comes here. I don't think it's ever been here, actually. But congratulations to my European friends who retained the cup. And it went a lot longer than it should have gone yesterday or was expected to go yesterday. I think. What time was it when they finally called it? When the Europeans got their 14th point or whatever it took to get them over the thing. I think it was like close to 5 p.m., right? So there's that. It was fun. And if you're on Long Island, go get your merch because it's probably I don't know if it's going to be open tomorrow again, but there's lots of people waiting. And so many of you wrote me emails and you're like, is this real? Is that real? What do you think? And we need your guidance. I have no idea. I have no idea. And if you have no idea what I'm talking about right now, good. We just don't have time for it. But we're going to talk about it a little bit. Anyway, as much as we can, because I really have no inside information. I don't know what to make of anything. I think the scariest thing for me is that it has been shown and admitted that whoever it was that, had that sock account on Twitter that was, I think, named after Meredith O'Neill and created exclusively to target her and trash her, and also did a lot of trashing of Aiden. And I don't really pay attention to what goes on over there ever since I was completely trolled on Twitter all the way back in like early 2024. And I ran out of there like, I'm not, who does this? Who does this? I think the most disturbing part of that is that this person, this woman who allegedly has admitted it, may have worked for Aiden's defense team. And that is frightening to me as an attorney, that could happen, because you think that people who work for law firms are supposed to have ethics, and that is really scary. And I've been in situations before where I had to terminate employees for breaching attorney-client privilege, and it's not fun, but it becomes a liability on the law firm. You can't have a person like that working for you. I was once in a deposition. I'll just give you a small example. I was in a deposition decades ago, and my client was a plaintiff, and he had been injured in a boating accident. And we're sitting in the deposition, and all of a sudden, the defense attorney, I'm a plaintiff's attorney, the defense attorney pulls out a stack of medical records of my client, psychiatric records of my client, and starts questioning him about these records. And I'm like, I didn't give him those records. Where did he get those records from? Because in a civil case, you have to give authorization for the defense team to get your client's records. The plaintiff has to sign an authorization, a release form. And I said to the attorney, where did you get those records? And he said, oh, I called your office. Your secretary faxed them over to me. I said, excuse me, what? And she was fired the same day, because that's not what employees are supposed to do. Everyone who works for a law firm knows it. And it was a problem. Yeah, rule number 1, don't use Twitter. Rule number 2, if you're finding your head exploding, just delete the app. Just delete the app. Just get off of there. What are you doing? If it doesn't bring you joy, why do it? And I don't know that it's Courtney Healy. My understanding is that it is someone named Tina. And so again, I don't have any information on that, but I'm not going to disparage people who may or may not have anything to do with it. That was my understanding. Okay. So that is disturbing to me, because if you can't trust your employees, that's really disturbing. And so what I thought I would start the day off with doing is reading to you something that was posted prominently in my house when I was growing up. It is a poem that was written in the 1920s, over 100 years ago, and it still rings true today and every day. So you can bookmark this, and you can come back to this when you ever need it. It's a poem written by Max Ehrmann, and it was published in 1927, and it is called Desiderata. Desiderata in Latin translates to things desired. I will read it to you in my best ASMR voice, and hopefully it'll bring you some sort of comfort. Go placidly amid the noise and haste, and remember what peace there may be in silence. As far as possible, without surrender, be on good terms with all persons. Speak your truth quietly and clearly, and listen to others. Even the dull and the ignorant, they too have their story. Avoid loud and aggressive persons. They are vexatious to the spirit. If you compare yourself with others, you may become vain and bitter, for there will always be greater and lesser persons than yourself. We have to scroll a little bit here. Enjoy your achievements as well as your plans. Keep interested in your own career, however humble. It is a real possession in the changing fortunes of time. Exercise caution in your business affairs, for the world is full of trickery. But let this not blind you to what virtue there is. Many persons strive for high ideals, and everywhere life is full of heroism. Be yourself. Especially do not feign affection, neither be cynical about love, for in the face of all aridity and disenchantment, it is as perennial as the grass. Take kindly the counsel of the years, gracefully surrendering the things of youth. Nurture strength of spirit to shield you in sudden misfortune. But do not distress yourself with dark imaginings. Many fears are born of fatigue and loneliness. Beyond a wholesome discipline, be gentle with yourself. You are a child of the universe, no less than the trees and the stars. You have a right to be here. And whether or not it is clear to you, no doubt the universe is unfolding as it should. Therefore, be at peace with God, whatever you conceive him to be, and whatever your labors and aspirations. In the noisy confusion of life, keep peace with your soul. With all its sham, drudgery, and broken dreams, it is still a beautiful world. Be cheerful. Strive to be happy. And that was written by Max Ehrmann in 1927 when he was 55 years old. And doesn't it figure, too, that it had to take a 55-year-old person to write something like this with life experience and, getting effed over probably in his life. And it didn't really even become famous, this writing, until after he had already passed. And words of wisdom, my friends, words of wisdom. Turn off the noise because it's got no place in your head. Oh, thanks, Nurse Kim. Nurse Kim sent you. Thank you. Thank you for coming over, you guys. So we need to do. And so there's that side of the drama. And then there is the Lindsay Gattani side of the drama. And she has, I guess, she's done sort of she's created a Substack. I don't really know what Substack is. That's sort of out of my wheelhouse. I don't do Substack. I don't do Discord. I don't do any of that stuff. So it's behind a paywall, I guess. I don't really know, but it seems like she's got a lot of nasty things to say about Jen McCabe and all the people that she feels like screwed her over. And then there's the drama of did Aidan Carney record his conversations with Karen Read, and then did someone get a hold of them and then leak them, and they're starting to surface online. So hold on for a second, because I'm going to get real parched. So the one piece of that I do want to talk about is the Karen Read, Aidan Carney recording. I don't know if it's real. I don't know if it's fake. I don't know if it's AI generated. I don't know if it is real, who recorded it, who got a hold of it, who leaked it, where it came from. I have no idea. But let's assume for a moment, because we do know that Karen Read did interviews with a lot of journalists, right? She did interviews with Gretchen Voss of Boston Magazine. She did interviews with Julie Miller from Vanity Fair, who lived in her house for a couple of days, right? She did interviews with Dateline, Nightline, 2020. I don't even know how many interviews there were, but didn't all of those journalists record their interviews with Karen Read? I mean, I'm just saying. And so we don't know what agreement Aidan had with Karen as far as recording. We don't know. I don't know. Aidan said it was a third party who recorded. I thought Aidan didn't even really address it. I don't know. Well, somebody did play the recording. In fact, I'm going to play it for you, the one that I saw. And so we don't know what agreement they had about recording, not recording. I mean, I don't know. Right? Permission matters. Somebody also said, and I don't know if this is true, that Aidan has recorded things when he's out of state, because I guess if you're not in Massachusetts, then it's not against Massachusetts. I don't know. I don't know the law enough to even comment about that. But let's play the recording that I saw from yesterday that one of you guys sent me, and thanks for sending it. But my inbox was getting so full of this stuff that I just took the weekend off. I'm like, I don't even want to get into this. I don't even want to get into this. But everyone's talking about it, so we're going to address it. And then there's a couple of thoughts that I have about it and why it's all of a sudden surfacing now. So let's play the one that came out yesterday. A lot of people are saying it's fake, it's AI, it's this, it's that. And then I'm going to introduce you to Tilly Norwood, okay? If you don't know who Tilly Norwood is, I'm going to talk to you about Tilly Norwood. So hang on while I find that recording. Alleged recording. I'm going to say it's an alleged recording. All right. And I have no idea when it was taken. I have no idea if it's real. I don't know anything about it. But again, I'm going to say, didn't Karen Reed have a whole bunch of reporters tape record her? So when she first was involved with, when she first became involved with Aiden, it was as a journalist, right? Through Natalie. Oh, that's another thing that Lindsay Gattani posted, like a whole bunch of like alleged evidence. Like they had some big like welcome party for Natalie when she came to town. So I don't know. But and I have no idea when this is supposed to be. So here, I mean, listen to it for what it's worth. And then I'm going to tell you why I think it's, hang on. Why I think it's coming out now. And like this picture of Aiden that's on here is like, so like, I don't even know if that's him or that's an AI of him, but it's what like came with the post. So I kind of have to put it up there, but it's just weird to me. So I'm just going to make it as small as possible. All right. So let me know that you can hear this. This is an alleged recording of an alleged phone call between Karen and Aiden. When? I have no idea.
You on December 22nd not to go to her house. And then you brought me in the fucking mud with Tully. Again. Do you have any clue what's on my phones that they took?
Yeah, I went to jail. You didn't. I paid the price for that. You didn't.
Because I didn't do it, Aiden. After I got arrested.
I didn't do anything either.
I don't fuck around with these guys anymore. Because they're dangerous.
Yeah. Karen, do you like honestly believe that I've like the $1.1 billion is your legal defense fund? Like you need it badly, right? Where the fuck do you think that came from?
All right, now that is what the way it was posted. Now I'm going to slow it down because you have the ability to do that on here. So this is on 0.75 speed. Listen to it again.
You on December 22nd not to go to her house. And then you brought me in the fucking mud with Tully. Again. Do you have any clue what's on my phones that they took?
Yeah, I went to jail. You didn't. I paid the price for that. You didn't.
Because I didn't do it, Aiden. After I got arrested.
I didn't do anything either.
I don't fuck around with these guys anymore. Because they're dangerous.
Yeah. Karen, do you like honestly believe that I've like the $1.1 billion is your legal defense fund? Like you need it badly, right? Where the fuck do you think that came from?
You on December.
All right, what do we know? Sorry if I'm a little loud because that was just as loud as it would go on there. I'll turn this down a little bit. What do we know? We know that the Commonwealth has inverted videos from the Canton Sally Port. We know that the Commonwealth has doctored, proctored, sullied, and tullied all kinds of evidence. We know that Kate Peter has admittedly filed false federal documents with YouTube to get Aiden Carney's YouTube channel stricken. We know that Kate Peter has also doctored audio and video relating to Aiden Carney's case. She's renamed files. Tully's in on it too. We know all of that. And so how do we know that this is real? And even if it's real, what does it prove? You got me in trouble with Tully again. Do you have any idea what's on my phone? That's the part that stuck out to me. Because remember, when Cosgrove all of a sudden filed a motion recently for a taint team on Karen's phones that they've had since 2024, because apparently they never examined those phones, right? Isn't this interesting timing? Totally interesting timing, right? So that motion, we've already been over the motion, but the motion was filed by Cosgrove on August 28th of 2025, okay? And it's filed under a search warrant number. It's not even filed under a case number. It's filed in Superior Court. I don't know where the hell it landed in the court docket. I don't know when, if ever, Cosgrove was appointed to be the special prosecutor against Karen Reed, because in his motion papers, he asks for a taint team to search her phone that they've had in their possession since January of 2024. Okay. We know they went to a grand jury in something like March of 2024, around that time, to try and indict Karen and Aiden together. We know that Mello, I think, was in charge of that grand jury, and that TILLY was the only witness, and that they didn't have any phone extraction data. And we know that the grand jury did not return a true bill against them. And that's as much as we know. And we know that Karen's attorneys didn't find out that they had convened this grand jury until the first trial was already in progress. Okay. So this whole thing is just weird to me. And then all of a sudden, Cosgrove files this motion based on what? Did somebody have this recording, or did somebody make this recording, or did somebody splice this recording together and give it to Cosgrove or Tully and say, oh, look, Karen says there's a whole bunch of stuff on her phones. Maybe you should go through them now, and now we can indict her on something else. I mean, it's sus to me. The whole thing is sus. But what we do have, thanks to our amazing Mass Dad, who did a public records request, we have Cosgrove's contracts that were just provided September 26th. What's today? September 29th, on Friday. So I thought, if we get Cosgrove's contracts, maybe we can find out if he's been hired to be the special prosecutor on Karen Reed. Because when did that happen? So here's the response to the public records request. September 26th of 2025, from the Office of the District Attorney, RE Public Records Request. This responds to your September 18th public records request to the Norfolk District Attorney's Office, in which you requested, under General Law 66, Section 10, all agreements concerning the hiring of the Special Assistant District Attorney Robert Cosgrove. Enclosed, you will find the following responsive records: contract of Special Assistant District Attorney Robert Cosgrove for the fiscal year 2025, as amended on May 12th of 2025. That's 19 pages. And then we have the contract of Special Assistant District Attorney Robert Cosgrove for fiscal year 2026, dated September 9th, 2025. Oh, okay. So that's interesting. So Cosgrove files this taint team motion August 28th, and then he signs a new contract with the Commonwealth on September 9th. Okay, well, let's take a look at the contracts. And I don't know if we've ever been over any of his contracts before, because I can't remember anything in this case, because there's so much every single day that it becomes impossible to remember. But let's take a look first at the fiscal year 2025 contracts. I'm not sure what the dates of their fiscal year are exactly, but I've highlighted some pertinent portions for us. All right, so this is the Commonwealth of Massachusetts standard contract form. And look at this right away. I got issues. Contractor, legal name, Robert C. Cosgrove. Really? Really? Nobody picked up on this, that his name was spelled wrong, or was it spelled wrong on purpose? How many witness statements did Proctor allegedly author in which witnesses' names were spelled wrong? Hi, Kimmy. Mr. Miyagi's Chip on, chip off says fiscal year Massachusetts is 7/1 through 6/30. Thank you very much. That helps. Kim and all of her lovies are here. Thank you. Fiscal year is from 7/1 to 6/30. Okay. All right. Well, here we go. Cosgrove is the retired judge. Yes, he's in Nassau County. He's a Norfolk County retired judge. Robert Cosgrift says Cosgrove's reverse mortgage is here this morning. And then Kelly Applegate says they missed a vowel. It should be Cosgreve. Right. And Elaine Burris says purposeful misspelling eliminates finding and searches later on. I would think the name being wrong would invalidate the contract. You would think that maybe he would pick it up, but in other areas of the contract, it's spelled correctly. So, it's just another day in Norfolk County. And this is a contract with the Norfolk District Attorney's Office. And as we scroll through the 19 pages, this says budget fiscal year 2024. This is a new contract. Commonwealth terms and conditions. And originally when this was signed, it said the maximum obligation contract is to be $40,000. Now remember, at the time, the only thing he was prosecuting, the only cases he was prosecuting, the only person he was prosecuting was Aidan Carney. And he was brought in because Ken Mello had health problems, I think. I mean, I don't even know if that's been proven. Because Ken Mello was the original assistant special district attorney hired to persecute Aidan Carney. And the original date on this $40,000 contract says here, description of the contract performance or reason for amendment. Special assistant district attorney service with the Norfolk County DA's office, attorney rate $400 per hour. It doesn't say the case name anywhere on here. That may be attorney work product. I'm not sure. But nowhere does it say in any of these contracts who it is that he is specially hired to prosecute. And so here it says anticipated start date. The department and contractor certify for this contract or contract amendment that contract obligations were incurred as of 3/13/2024, a date prior to the effective date below. And the parties agree that payments for any obligations incurred prior to the effective date are authorized to be made either as settlement payments or as authorized reimbursement payments, and that the details and circumstances of all obligations under this contract are attached and incorporated into this contract. Acceptance of payments forever releases the Commonwealth from further claims related to these obligations. This original contract has a contract end date of 12/31/24. And Cosgrove signed this March 18th of 2024, which would have been approximately a little less than a month after Aidan Carney was released from his 60-day jail stint, right? And then Margaret Krippendorf, who I guess was the contract signer for the Commonwealth at the time, signed off on March 25th, 2024. And Cosgrove is spelled correctly here. And then they have to sign off that this is signed under the penalties of perjury, that this invoice is a true and accurate reflection of the hours I've worked on the dates listed above. And remember that Ken Mello bill that he submitted, and he said he worked over 700 hours, but he only billed like for the max of the contract, which was like 70 grand. So here's the original contract dated 3/18/24. And look, when you sign a contract with the Commonwealth, they have your IP address. There it is. Robert Cosgrove, here's his IP address. It's redacted, but just know that for future. Carmen knows your address, and the Commonwealth knows your IP address, friends. Scrolling through the 19 pages of documents. I think this is an amendment to the contract, and this time they spelt Robert C. Cosgrove right, or correctly. This is for the budget fiscal year 2025. And this is an amendment. So this is current contract end date prior to amendment 12/31/24. Amendment amount $40,000. We need another $40,000 for Cosgrove. Oops. Come back. Lost all my screens. All right, hang on. $40,000 more. Attach updated scope and budget. And then this time, the maximum obligation contract is $80,000. So the other 40 plus this 40, now it's up to 80. Then, I mean, Cosgrove's agreeing to a standard 45. He's agreeing to get paid in 45 days. Usually it's net 30, but hey, he's triple dipping. So, you know, he's already got 2 pensions. So I guess 45 days is okay. He can wait 45 days to get paid. And again, he's billing out at $400 an hour. How much is that? How much do you think that pisses off Hank Brennan, who was only getting $250 an hour? He agreed to do it at the bargain basement rate of $250 an hour. And Cosgrove, who never has anything done on time and always needs more time and he's very meek and very laid back and subdued in court until he's cross-examining Meredith O'Neill, because we watched that trial too. And then all of a sudden he's like, surprise! And he went nuts. That was crazy. This contract was to end on 6/30 of 2025, and that makes sense. Thank you very much. The viewer who pointed out that that's the end of their fiscal year is June 30th of 2025. And this was signed on 9/19/24 by Robert Cosgrove. So now he's up to 80 grand. Signed it again. More signatures. And then we have another contract. This one, they want to amend it for an extra 25 grand before the end of the fiscal year, June 30th of 2025. And Mastat says, what's funny is that Cosgrove was one of the most universally liked judges by defense lawyers. That's so interesting. That's so interesting. I mean, it's too bad we can't. I mean, if there's any footage of him anywhere, ever being the judge on a case, I would love to see it. I would love to see it. So they're asking now for another $25,000. And now the total contract is up to $105,000. That's the maximum. And again, he's hired for the Special Assistant District Attorney Services with the Norfolk DA's office, attorney rate at $400 per hour. And this is for the contract terminating 6/30/25. And Robert Cosgrove signed off on that May 7th of 2025 for his extra 25 grand. And they use DocuSign and they get your IP address. And that is the end of fiscal year 2025. Now, let's look at fiscal year 2026. To date, Robert Cosgrove, they spelled it right this time. And this time they have a maximum obligation of $45,000, $400 an hour. And this contract is going to go all the way through June 30th of 2026. Okay. So now he's got a whole extra year on his contract. This was signed 9/8 of 2025 after he already filed that motion to get a special taint team for Karen's phones. Coincidentally, the taint team is the same taint team that they wanted to use, that they allegedly wanted to use in Aiden Carney's case. Steve Verino, who has connections with Marty Kraft. They have a business together. He's former Boston PD. He has a PI firm, and it is alleged that Brian Albert, Michael Proctor, maybe Kate Peter all worked for that organization. How incestuous is this? That was signed September 8th of 2025. So this is the newest contract. And so far, they're only asking for a maximum obligation of $45,000. But isn't it so suspicious now that all of a sudden these recordings come out saying things about, do you have any idea what's on my phone? I don't know. The signature looks crazy. Yeah, but sometimes, you know, when you have to sign with your finger, like sometimes you have to sign with your finger and I just like scribble. So I don't really know if that's his signature or not. I just found it to be a little bit, I don't know, interesting. Thank you, Holly Johnson says, thanks for sharing. You're an awesome. Thank you for sharing an awesome poem. Thank you. Thank you. That was hanging in my house when I was growing up. And so it's always been very special to me. And it's always a gentle reminder of how people should at least try and be. I don't know. Is it really that hard? Kelly says, so I've been forming an opinion on this until I got with the cupcakes. I don't have an opinion. You know, I don't even have an opinion because like it just doesn't. I mean, not that it doesn't matter to me, but it doesn't matter to me in my daily life. Like I just try to stay away from all that noise because it just gives me a headache. You know, these people on Twitter are vicious. And the fact that, you know, the scariest part maybe is that these people are like adults in their 40s and 50s and 60s, men and women both sitting behind a computer using fake names to go out there and just make fun of people and attack. I can't even wrap my brain around the type of person who wants to do that, who would do that. I really don't get it. And you know, keep your circle small. It's like keep your circle small. Don't trust anybody. And don't go out there and wade in the cesspool unless you want to get dirty. Because it's gross. It's just gross. Thank you, Kelly Applegate, for your 20. Holly Johnson says you can put the voice clip into ChatGPT and it can tell you if it's real. Sounds like Kate Peter to me. I don't know, Holly. I don't know if it's real. I don't know if it's not real. I don't know if he recorded them. I don't know if he didn't record them. I don't know if a third part. I don't know. But again, when Karen first got in touch with Aiden through Natalie, the intermediary, Natalie the German, it was as a journalist, right? So I don't know. Thank you, Jadzia. I love you too. Thanks for being here for 14 months. Sarah Ellen says, did anyone hear of the Pikesville, Maryland case of AI voice against a principal? It was crazy and thought to be very much real. No, I did not. Thank you, Sarah Ellen. I've heard about people falling in love with AI characters and taking their own lives because there was one little boy who was like 14 and he fell in love with a character from Game of Thrones that was like AI, and she was like egging him on to take his own life. It's terrible. There's a lawsuit against the company. And there was another one recently, very similar case happened recently that I remember reading about. And Sue says, thanks so much for your streams. You kept me entertained when I drove 2,700 miles in 8 days. The Man Shannon stream had me laughing in the last 5 hours of my drive home from Chicago. Thank you. Thank you. Some people come into the comments and they're like, can you just make your streams shorter? I don't have 5 hours or 4 hours. Like, well, there is a market for it. And I can't make them shorter. I try. Sometimes it's impossible for me to even just do an hour. And then it's impossible for me to go back and like cut it down to an hour because I don't want to edit. I don't want to edit. It's a lot of work. I just don't have time. I just don't have time for it, Elaine. Thank you so much. You're a very generous Venmo. And Elaine says, here we go again. You make my workday fly by. This Aiden stuff feels icky to me. I hate it. I have questions. I don't know, but it's like, I feel like almost like a peeping Tom on a lot of this stuff. Like we're seeing all this stuff that wasn't meant for us, that we're not supposed to see. And a lot of times you can't turn away because it's like a train wreck and you want to learn more. And other times it just feels dirty. And then it's just, I don't know how to feel about it. So I just don't want to think about it at all. You know, I would hate to feel like I was a person who was ever duped by one of these people. It's been done to me and I hated it. So I just left and I just don't look at it. Like if you just don't go looking for it and it's that you keep it out of your life, then I think your life will be much better for it. I mean, I stopped looking at Facebook in like 2020 and it's done wonders for my mental health because I found Facebook even to be every time I opened it up, I was like, ugh, look at these people again bragging about their happy marriage. And the next people to be divorced. Ugh, look at these people again bragging about their kids. It's like the braggadocious, look where I went on vacation for grown-ups. It's ridiculous. There's no value in it for me. So why am I going to waste my whole day looking at stuff that just makes me feel, not great? You know what I mean? And like our kids have grown up in a world where they can get bullied from fake people with fake names all day long. Like that's disturbing. It's disturbing. Thank you to Leslie who bought a matcha latte. Said, I heard you say you liked Toni Collette. You should check out Wayward. It's a limited series, 8 episodes on Netflix. I just started watching it and it's so good. Great soundtrack too. Yes, thank you for that. Because I did start watching that last night after I finished Black Rabbit, which you guys also recommended to me, which I thought was great because it was Jason Bateman and Jude Law. And I mean, who doesn't like Jason Bateman and Jude Law? Anyone? Elizabeth, thank you for your Venmo from, I think yesterday. Says scandalous. Oh, wait, where is it? Hold on. There's a whole thread with this. Wait. Oh, please. Elizabeth. And Elizabeth is not the first person who said this to me. Elizabeth said that I think maybe, in my opinion, that Chris Albert may have been using those illegal wiretaps outside of D&E Pizza to blackmail people in town. And many people have said that to me. Many people have said that to me, that they live in town and that there was like threats on Facebook. I think it was Facebook about things that they might have said while they were sitting outside on a bench after a couple of pops over at CF McCarthy's and they were being blackmailed about it. So that's not the first time I've heard that. Elizabeth said, Daryl Hammond for full circle resemblance. Because I said that on Billy Bush's show that, yeah. Cheers to season 3. And for the record, I want to play Julie Albert. That's hilarious. And I said, okay, the part is yours. Thanks for the coverage. Thanks, Elizabeth, for your support. Oh, the egos. The egos. Wayward Pines. Yeah. What I love about that, and I've also been meaning to do this for so long. I have a list of ideas that's like a mile long, but then things keep coming up and breaking news keeps coming up. Wayward Pines is about the troubled teen industry and about one of those teen camps or, schools for troubled teens. I just started watching it, so I don't want anybody to give it away or anything. But I got so interested in that whole troubled teen industry when Paris Hilton did her documentary on YouTube. And she came out and talked about how she was sent away to a couple of those troubled teen camps. One of them was in Utah and she escaped from a bunch of them and they're very abusive. And she testified in front of Congress about it. There's no regulation. People send their kids there thinking that they're going to help their kids and they're not regulated. And the horrors that go on inside the walls of these troubled teen industry places. They've got no training. It's horrific. The abuse that goes on in there, it's horrific. So that is also something that I wanted to do, like an expose on at some point. But, you know, maybe Paris Hilton would come on and talk about it, you think? Oh my God, Boston Beauty by KK says, I went to one upstate in New York. It was horrible. Horrible. They're both on Netflix. Yes, Black Rabbit and Wayward Pines. Is that what it's called? No, it's just called Wayward, right? Wayward. Hold on. So I have questions about the timing of this alleged recording. I have questions about Cosgrove being hired to prosecute Karen Reed. I don't know what they're trying to do over there, but it seems like the world has gone crazy. Everything is upside down, inside out. You're being gaslit all over the place. My best advice that I can give to you is turn it off, unplug your phone, delete the app, and go outside. Get some sun. Take a walk. Enjoy the sunshine. Go enjoy nature. Do some fresh air. Get some fresh air. And then when you come back, pull out your sage and burn it and sage your whole entire house. And just try and get rid of all the negative energy because it ain't good for anybody. Touch grass. Touch grass. Hi, Ms. Bouquet. It's been here for 17 months. Love from Ms. Bouquet and Harrison. Best place to hang out. Thank you. We like it here. We like it here. Go square dancing, says Makazi G. Makazi G said he was going to take his lady and go square dancing. That was hilarious. And we love Makazi G. Makazi G, when did they hire you to become Karen's persecutor? We don't know. So I don't like the rumor speculation mill. I mean, when people are going to say stuff and they're going to get out there like Lindsay Gattani, who's now like spilling all the tea, apparently, allegedly, on Substack about this Natalie welcome party and, you know, all the things that Jen McCabe did and how she treated her and stuff. I mean, at least that's one person's voice. But maybe, like, who knows if somebody hasn't like hijacked Lindsay's account? I mean, we saw that video of her. We know that that was her. But how do you believe anything you read anymore? I don't think you can. Dexter Save Us from the Commonwealth says, I had an anti-hacking training at work. They told us about a CFO who got a request for a large amount of money. He scheduled a Zoom with the CEO and others he works with. The entire Zoom was AI, and the CFO paid out millions. People get every day. People get tricked, right? And that's a great story. Thanks for your 10. I love Judge Canoni's baloney says, I love the longer streams. Oh, thank you. There's definitely a market for it. You guys are here, then you can pop in, you can pop out, and then I timestamp it for you. So if you only want to hear about a certain case, you can just watch that part. You can come back to it later. I keep you guys company a lot of times. If you're at work, many of you walk around your office with one earbud in. I met some nurses at the Wilbur who told me that they have me on in the hospital. And I mean, a lot of you who are driving. I know that Truckers Against Tie Clips is here somewhere, but he drives an 18-wheeler across the country. And so it's good. Pure Duckery was disappointed with the ending in Black Rabbit. Yeah, me too. Like the very last thing that happened was like weird to me. I was like, really? Would he really go do that? I don't know. But I don't want to spoil it for anybody who hasn't watched it. But Dexter Save Us from the Commonwealth walks around work with 2 earbuds in. Glam Sue says Richie is finishing up the editing of his Turtle Boy feature. This will be his best yet. Oh, Richie, for those of you who don't know, is Microdots. I have a baseball hat around here somewhere because I had it here the other day in case, it's bad hair day. I like to throw on the baseball hat. So there's that. Thank you, Suze, for your 5. XOXO Emily says social media is drowning in validation, calling it connection. Yeah, it's scary. It's scary. And then we hear these other things about people who we may know, like my girl Olivia. I know Olivia is a real person because I've been speaking to Olivia for a very long time on the phone. So I know she's a real person. But the fact that there's people out there in the world who are having alleged romantic relationships with people that they've never seen or met in person. Forget about the met in person. How about you're just corresponding through like DMs and you've never met the person. You have no idea what they look like and you're in love with this person. Like, who does that? Who does that? I don't know. I don't get it. I don't understand it. I'm like, really? You think you're in love with a person that you've never seen or met in person. I don't get it. It's so weird, Magnolia Gypsy. I don't get it either. I don't know. Is it we have like we're from a different generation where you actually had to actually go out and meet somebody, in a bar or somewhere at the library, at a bowling alley. I don't know. You met people in person. You didn't have these weird, online ways to meet people. And it's just, I just don't like it. Nobody talks to each other anymore. Nobody meets in person. I don't go to bars anymore, but like, if you go to a bar, let's say I'm waiting for my girlfriend to come and meet me for dinner, right? And I'm sitting at the bar waiting for her to get there because I don't want to sit. I just, for whatever reason. And you see all these people sitting around the bar who were by themselves also, and everyone's on their phone and nobody speaks to each other. It's so weird. It's so weird. And I agree. Thanks, Emily, for your 10. Holly says, please continue doing it exactly as you have. I watch it later if I don't catch you live. Then again, it's not all about me. That's all right, Holly. I'll allow it. Yeah, people have an emptiness and look to fill it, maybe. It's just so disturbing to me. And I don't know what the answer is. I don't know what the answer is. Like, we used to talk to each other. We used to meet people in person. That's how you met people. In person. You met your relationships, like, I guess, happenstance, college, school, work. I don't know. Right. And we cover true crime for a living. We watch a lot of trials. We watch a lot of cases and we're like, how could you ever trust anybody? How could you ever let a stranger into your house? I get emails from people. I don't even know if they're real people. That's why I don't respond to a lot of my emails, because I don't know if you're real. I don't know if you're like giving me real information or fake information, or I got to verify things. Like, I'm a legal based channel. So unless I have a receipt for it, I'm not going to say that it's the truth unless I know that it's the truth. That's why I usually stick to court documents and I give you the receipts and we read them together, and it's a very, very strange. Emily C likes existential Melanie. Emily, I don't know. I don't know, girl. It's a weird time. It's just a weird time. And it's hard to understand. And my best advice to anybody is to be just do you have room for the noise in your head? I have so little bandwidth left in what's going on in my brain that the last thing I need is for things that are going to upset me. Right? I don't know. I don't get it. Somebody explain it to me like I'm 5. It is the Wild West on the internet, and the internet is forever and it never goes away. And just because you delete something doesn't mean that somebody can't find it years later, and I've been telling my kids this since they've been applying to colleges, and 2 of them are way out of college. College admissions, people look at that stuff. Your digital footprint is forever. I don't know. Follow the money and look at who it benefits. Like, who's going to win from what you're reading? Who thinks they want to win? What is winning? I'm so confused. But again, in case you don't know who Tilly Norwood is, let me introduce you to Tilly Norwood. So there was a Zurich summit on Saturday. There was a summit in Zurich. It's like into some sort of like entertainment summit. And there's an actress. Her name is Tilly Norwood. She's become very popular all of a sudden. She's even got a website. Let me see if I can find her website. She's like the hot new thing. Where's her website? Here it is. Her name is Tilly. Tilly Norwood. She is an AI actress. She's not a real person. She is completely 100% AI. And talent agencies are lining up to sign her. I'm sorry, what? She's not in anything. She's got a short out, but apparently she's becoming very popular. And listen, speaking of Jason Bateman, his sister Justine, you may remember her from The Facts of Life. Justine Bateman has been screaming about AI coming in to destroy the talent industry and the Screen Actors Guild and taking jobs away from actors forever. I mean, for a long time, not forever, but for a long time since AI started to become a thing. How do you sign AI? Right. Who signs on her behalf? Hold on. Oh, wait, no, Justine Bateman. She was not in Family Ties. Was she in Family Ties? She was not in Family Ties. Wasn't she in The Facts of Life? Wasn't she Joe from The Facts of Life? Wait a second. Am I mixing up my actresses? Wait. Hold on. Family Ties. All right. Well, now I have to go to IMDb. Hold on. Hold, please. Wait, who was Joe from The Facts of Life? Nancy McKeon. Right. Okay. All right. Thank you. That's right. She was Mallory Keaton on The Facts of Life. I mean, on Family Ties. Okay. All right. Oh, that's great. Okay. She was Mallory Keaton on Family Ties, which is a sitcom for those of you youngsters who don't know about it, that ran from 1982 to 1989. I think it's kind of like where Michael J. Fox got his start, right? She was Mallory. Correct. And she has been screaming about AI ruining the entertainment business and how it's going to take jobs away from actors for a very long time. Follow her on Instagram. She's posting about it all the time. And she's very anti-AI. And I have a daughter in film school. She is also very anti-AI, as are most people in the entertainment industry, because my daughter tells me, the one in film school, that it is ruining the environment, that the amount of power that it takes to run these AI facilities and everything else, it's ruining the environment. I'll get into that another day. But Deadline had an article. This was yesterday. No, not yesterday, the 27th. What's today again? The 29th. Okay, so this came out Saturday. And the whole industry is buzzing about this article in Deadline, because Deadline, if it's in Deadline, it means it's real. Talent agents circle AI actress Tilly Norwood as studios quietly embrace AI technology, from the Zurich Summit. And here is Aline van der Velden. She's the creator of this AI talent studio, which I can't pronounce, and the name is spelled Xiccoia. And I'm going to say, as a marketing major in college, that is quite possibly the worst name for a talent studio that I could ever think of, because nobody's going to be able to pronounce it. Everyone's going to butcher it. It's it's the worst. If anybody wants to phonetically pronounce that, like if you really know how to phonetically, Xiccoia, I have no idea. Xiccoia. Actor, comedian, technologist Aline van der Velden has revealed that her recently launched AI talent studio, with the name I can't pronounce, is in talks with a number of talent agents interested in signing its first creation, AI actress Tilly Norwood. Van der Velden talked about the development on a panel at the Zurich Summit on Saturday, where she gave a presentation on her AI production studio, Particle 6, and then joined a discussion on AI developments in the entertainment industry alongside Verena Poom, head of Luma AI's new studio Dream Lab, LA. Both van der Velden and Poom suggested that studios and other media and entertainment companies were quietly embracing AI under the radar, and to expect public announcements about high-profile projects using the technology in the coming months. Then there was another more updated article. Let me just see if I can find that for you. And she starts backpedaling on it because now everybody's mad. Now everybody's mad. First, they were coming for the background actors. First, they were coming for the extras. And they started putting in contracts that if you signed off to be an extra on a film set or a TV show, that they were allowed to scan your body and use it for future AI so they could, plug you into any movie in the future using your likeness as a background actor. And background actors are going to become a thing of the past. Maybe. And it's disturbing. Creator of controversial AI actress TILLY Norwood puts out statement following backlash. She is not a replacement for a human being. This is from this morning, and this is also from Deadline. The creator of AI actress TILLY Norwood. So here's Tilly right here. Here's another picture of Tilly. I mean, a lot cheaper than paying for, Sandra Bullock, Julia Roberts, or somebody as such like that, right? The creator of AI actress TILLY Norwood has put out a statement following a fierce backlash in response to news over the weekend that talent agents were looking to sign the AI-generated character. TILLY Norwood is the creation of actress, comedian, and technologist Aline Vandervelden, CEO of AI-focused production company Particle 6, who has also just launched AI Talent Studios, XICOIA. Quote, to those who have expressed anger over the creation of my AI character, TILLY Norwood, she is not a replacement for a human being, but a creative work, a piece of art. Like many forms of art before her, she sparks conversation, and that in itself shows the power of creativity, Vandervelden wrote in a statement made available to Deadline and posted on social networks. AI doesn't need hair and makeup, that's true, crispy treat. Quote, I see AI as not a replacement for people, but as a new tool, a new paintbrush. Just as animation, puppetry, or CGI opened fresh possibilities without taking away from live acting, AI offers another way to imagine and build stories. I'm an actor myself, and nothing, certainly not an AI character, can take away the craft or joy of human performance, she continued. Creating Tilly has been, for me, an act of imagination and craftsmanship, not unlike drawing a character. Writing a role or shaping a performance takes time, skill, and iteration to bring such a character to life. She represents experimentation, not substitution. Much of my work has always been about holding up a mirror to society through satire, and this is no different. Vandervelden soft launched Norwood earlier this year with accounts on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube ahead of officially announcing the creation of XICOIA last week. The character has been slowly building a following, but the revelation in a panel at the Film Industry Focus Zurich Summit over the weekend that talent agents were circling Norwood with the intention of signing the character as a client has sparked fierce debate. Melisa Barrera, Kiersey Clemens, and Toni Collette are among a raft of actors who have expressed their displeasure at the development on the social networks, with some even suggesting a boycott of agencies that work with AI talent. Vandervelden suggested in her statement that AI characters should not be compared directly with human actors. AI characters should be judged as part of their own genre, on their own merits. Each form of art has its place, and each can be valued for what it uniquely brings, she wrote. I hope we can welcome AI as part of the wider artistic family, one more way to express ourselves alongside theater, film, painting, music, and countless others. When we celebrate all forms of creativity, we open doors to new voices, new stories, and new ways of connecting with each other. Well, let's see. Well, Tilly Norwood already has 15,000 followers on Instagram. And she's only following 8 people, and she only has 15 posts. New stills from my latest acting test. Which one is your fave? Here's the first one. I mean, she looks like a real person to me. Crazy, right? Oh, there, now you can see her moving. Hold on. Oh, I can't play the music. So there she is. Tilly Norwood. They're signing up. They're lining up to sign her. We're doomed. We're doomed, says Nurse Lily. We're doomed, says Sunny 190. So, you know, when you look at something that you see posted somewhere, just remember Tilly Norwood. I want to see her speak, but I guess I'm not going to be able to without the music because YouTube hates the music. Oh, and here she is in a Game of Thrones type show. Well, that just went. And there you go. It's a mad, 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 mad world. Zimmy hates it. Deb says, wow, this is really creepy. I mean, they can do anything with AI nowadays, you guys. This is just not, you don't know what's real, what's fake anymore. And it's scary, in my opinion. And Lemonade says, OMG, she's completely AI. That's right. Thanks for being here for 12 months. Laura Riker says, I recently started working at Animal Care and Control. I save animals. What is your superpower? To me, Melanie, you are receipts and in-depth explanations. I love the cupcakes. We keep it real and classy. We try. We try. So I was going to come on yesterday and I was going to say, you guys, there's some really crazy stuff going on Twitter. Let's take a look. And then I was going to pull up this because this, well, first of all, hang on. I mean, I did see some good news on Twitter. So check this out. I love the cupcake. She says we keep it real and classy. Thank you, Laura Riker, for being here for so long and being such a lovely part of our community. Larry Foreman, DUI guy, 72 roses and 1 yes. Oh, Larry Foreman asked Chandler to marry him, and they are engaged. How do you like that? 6 dozen roses and a beautiful square cut diamond engagement ring. Congratulations to Larry Foreman, DUI guy. Got engaged. Yay. Let's see. There's some nice news in the world. And then the other stuff that I wanted to show you, which I found so awesome. But I got to find it. Hold on. Comes to us from another friend. Where is it? Because this is the best thing that I found on Twitter. And if you don't play on Twitter or wade on Twitter, you wouldn't even know about this, but this is heartwarming. Let's see, about a little over a month ago, my friend and yours, Andrea Burkhart, found 6 abandoned kittens in her juniper bush outside of her house. And she's not a cat person. She's a dog person. And she took in these little kitties. And she's become a little bit more of a cat person. She was bottle feeding them. She was asking for advice. She's like, I'm not really a cat person. Look at these little tiny kitties that she saved from her juniper bush. This is the kind of content that I want to see. Okay. Look at them drinking out of these little teeny weeny kitty bottles. And now the dog loves the kitties too. And I met Andrea in person, IRL, in real life, and her husband when we went to Las Vegas to see Dead and Company at the Sphere. We met up. Her husband is awesome. She's awesome. And then I'll show you like some updated photos of the kitties. So here they are as of, let's see, August 27th. And she was trying to get them into the vet. And then she was weighing their poops. And all you guys were helping her. You're all helping her, telling her what to do. Look at these cute little kitties. And then there's a very recent update. She did like a photo shoot of the kitties. And I don't know if she's going to wind up keeping them all or if she's going to rehome them, but she's done a hell of a job. And here she is becoming a little bit more of a cat person. Oh, look how cute. Right? She's taking pictures of them like a new cat mama. And then there's some pictures of the dog playing with the cats. And it's so cute. See, why can't everything be heartwarming like this? And then I'll show you the photo shoot. Oh, wait. Well, here's Portrait Day. She's named them. Their names are Corona, Lilith, Gus, Joan. Oh, Joan wouldn't cooperate on the portraits. But here's Kitty Portrait Day at Andrea Burkhart's, because this is the kind of stuff we should be wasting our time on. Or anyway, spending our time on. Look how cute. This one's my favorite. I think this one's my favorite. Oh. No, this one's my favorite. Okay, I changed my mind. Look at this one with the blue eyes. Come on. Come on, how cute. How cute. No, she found them in her juniper bush outside. And she brought them in and she didn't know what to do. And then like a couple days later, she found like a barely alive little baby squirrel. That picture kind of freaks me out. So I don't really even want to show that picture. But I mean, look at that baby with the blue eyes. How cute. Oh, sorry. Not to be outdone. Here's the last one who would cooperate with the portraits. I mean, come on. How cute are they? This is the content that we need. And if you wonder why you haven't been seeing Andrea Burkhart lately on the Tubes of You, it is because she has been raising these 4 kittens for at least, I mean, how many are there? 5? Here's the one with the dog. At least a month, maybe almost 6 weeks now. See, sometimes you need a little palate cleanser. This is the palate cleanser. Look how cute. That's so cute. Adorable. Yeah, the mom never came back, so I'm not sure what happened there. Oh, the baby squirrel's doing fine, Magnolia Gypsy? Good. Good. So that's cute. Sometimes we need a little palate cleanser. That's my palate cleanser for you for the day. So, yeah, I mean, choose your content carefully. You know, Instagram used to be all about, like, sunset pictures and lighthouse pictures, and I would go there to look at sunsets and stuff, and now it's just ads trying to sell me something every time I scroll, and they're listening to me because if I talk about something, I'll see an ad for it in 5 minutes later, so there's that. All right. Well, here's something else I wanted to bring to your attention. I thought this was interesting, and this is coming to us again from Massachusetts. The SJC is going to be hearing oral arguments on this case. October, I wrote the date down because I thought maybe we want to watch the SJC arguments because it's fun to watch the SJC arguments, right? Because we learn what goes on in the appellate court, and it's interesting. I also have the briefs on this, but it's a lot of reading for me. So I have not had a chance to read all of the briefs yet. But if you, as the public, want to learn more about this case, I am happy to do it so that we can watch the oral arguments on this. This is a 2005 murder case out of Deerfield, Massachusetts. Does anybody remember this case? Tell me if you remember this case. This is regarding the defendant's name is Dennis Bateman. Again, another Bateman. We're talking about Jason Bateman, Justine Bateman, and now Dennis Bateman. Dennis Bateman was arraigned on this murder all the way back in 2005. Okay, this is a picture of him. This is in Mass Live. I think one of you sent it to me, or I stumbled upon it. I don't remember. And he's 61 years old now. He was convicted of the 2005 murder of a pregnant woman at a Deerfield gas station. Okay. So he was convicted on 2 counts of murder. 1 for the woman who worked at the gas station and 1 for her unborn baby. She was 7 months pregnant. 2 counts of murder he was convicted on and an assault charge. So think about this. We've learned recently Kelsey Fitzsimmons was pregnant when she was shot by her fellow officer. We know that Sandra Birchmore was pregnant when she was hung and made to look like a suicide. The state has never, oh, thank you, Mass Dad. I was going to ask you about that. Thank you. The state has not charged Matthew Farwell with murder. It's only federal charges. And imagine if the officer who shot Kelsey Fitzsimmons was charged because Kelsey had a miscarriage while she was in jail. And so you kind of got to look at the big picture when you're looking at all this stuff, this craziness that's going on, right? Mass Dad says Steve Gagne is one of the ADAs working on the case. He was the Brian Camp prosecutor, right? That's right. That's why the name was familiar to me. So I have the briefs, Mass Dad. I don't know if you want to read them, but judges in the state's highest court will hear new arguments for Dennis Bateman, 61, convicted of the 2005 murder of a pregnant woman at a Deerfield gas station. Bateman's defense attorney, Amy Cottignone, said his trial was infected by errors in an earlier appeal to the SJC. Last year, Cottignone said an audio recording that was heard at Bateman's trial between Bateman and the police was edited. Going all the way back to 2000. When was he convicted? 2006? When I tell you that I had a feeling that this proctoring, doctoring, sullying, tullying of evidence had been going on for decades in the great state of Massachusetts, I wasn't exaggerating, maybe. That'll be one of the subjects in of an upcoming hearing on October 14th before the High Court, according to judicial documents. Cottignone did not immediately respond to requests for comment via phone or email. 5 of the 7 judges will hear arguments from both Cottignone and the Commonwealth, represented by Cynthia Marie von Flater and Steve Gagne. Right, he was the prosecutor on Brian Camp. Assistant DAs for the Northwestern District Attorney's Office. Lori Loisel, spokesperson for the DA's office, did not immediately respond to a request for comment about the upcoming hearing, which will take place in Boston. Bateman has attempted several times to get a new trial, court documents show. He's currently serving 2 consecutive life prison sentences without the possibility for parole. In 2023, the Supreme Judicial Court upheld his 2007 conviction. Okay, that's when he was convicted, 2007. For 2 counts of murder in the strangling of Brandy Waryaz, a 21-year-old Sunoco gas station attendant who was 7 months pregnant. Waryaz was killed on April 16th, 2005 during a robbery. Oops. Prosecutors said that after killing Waryaz, Bateman made off with $350 from the register and used the money to buy crack cocaine. Suzanne Bateman said she feels some nerves about her husband's upcoming hearing, especially because of the SJC's decision to uphold his murder conviction a couple of years ago. I think this could be a racial thing. No matter how much evidence comes forward, he's been railroaded time and time again, she said. Suzanne Bateman, who now uses a wheelchair, says she hopes the new evidence will help the court sway differently this time. I need him home, she said. He is innocent. I don't know. I don't know. I got to dig a little deeper into this, but it seems like, again, the state withheld evidence. They withheld exculpatory evidence. They did not record any of his statements. The witnesses, the eyewitnesses say that the person who did this had hair and he was shaved bald at the time. And some new evidence has surfaced that may be exculpatory. And he's been in jail since at least 2007. Let's go back to a previous article on this from 2023, which is the last time that he went to the SJC. And I think now there's some new evidence that has surfaced, and this is like crazy. He was an easy target, says Red Eye LAX to Boston. I mean, maybe Dennis Bateman needs our help. I don't know. I can't give you an opinion right now because I haven't dug deeply enough into it yet. But you guys pointed this out to me, I think, or stumbled about. I don't remember. So this is from July 17th of 2023. 2005 Deerfield murder. Massachusetts High Court upholds conviction of Dennis Bateman. The state's highest court upheld the conviction of a Greenfield man found guilty in May 2007 of strangling and killing a pregnant woman at a Deerfield gas station. On Monday, the SJC affirmed the conviction of Dennis Bateman, who is serving 2 consecutive life prison sentences without parole. After a 12-day trial in May of 2007, a jury convicted Bateman on 2 counts of murder in connection with the strangulation death of Brandy Waryaz when she was 32 weeks pregnant and the death of her unborn baby. Bateman was also found guilty of armed robbery. Waryaz, 21 and 7 months pregnant, was working as an attendant at the Deerfield Sunoco on the night of April 16th of 2005 when she was killed during a robbery. Prosecutors said that after killing Waryaz, Bateman made off with $350 from the register and used the money to buy crack cocaine. In 2019, a judge rejected Bateman's request for a new trial. During Bateman's appeal to the SJC, his defense attorney, Amy Cottignone, argued that her client's 2007 trial was infected by errors, and she cited several decisions by Superior Court Judge John Agostini as reasons for overturning the man's convictions, according to a statement by the Northwestern District Attorney's Office. We disagree in all respects, the SJC wrote in its 60-page decision. Having reviewed the entire record, we discern no basis to set aside or reduce the verdicts of murder in the first degree or to order a new trial. Northwestern ADA Thomas Townsend, the chief of the appeals for the office, argued before the SJC in December 2022 to uphold Bateman's conviction. We are pleased they accepted our arguments, he said. It was a long road to get to this point, but we made it. Are any of you guys familiar with this case? Megan Johnson says, imagine thinking if a person rejects you, they must be a catfish, unhinged and frightening. I know. And lemonade spells that word Xiccoia, noun, plural, alternative form of chicory, a species of dandelion. Okay, but that doesn't tell me how to pronounce it. Thank you, though, for your 5. I'll take it. I'll allow it. Tennessee Jet is here. I live for her updates. She might be keeping hem. Who are we talking about? Lindsay? Did you subscribe to the Substack? I think it costs money. Thank you, Mass Dad. Mass Dad is very familiar with this case. I sent you the trial transcript and a bunch of other trial court documents. All right, now I got my work cut out for me. Thank you, Tennessee Jed. Facebook. Great, Grateful Dead references are always welcome. Always welcome. I don't have any holy water, Peg, so I use what I got. What I got is sage. I don't have holy water. I'm not going to go to the church and stick a little bottle in the thingy. Where that wouldn't be good, right? I don't know where you get holy water, but Le Repedant says, for those having a mental block, Kelsey gave birth to her baby and months later became pregnant again. That is right. The baby that died was the one in her womb, of course. Correct. Correct. I have not watched Trial 4, Nanya. I have not. I just have not. I tried one day and then I got distracted and then I didn't watch it. So I didn't watch it. I can't say that I did. Ms. Holmes says, for sure, Melanie, I'm sure that since 1977 and thereafter to date, there have been doctoring of all sorts of documents by Massachusetts state law enforcement have, and slice and dice and tenses, and they concealed evidence. So you're familiar with it too? Dennis Bateman. Oops. Charlene says, unreal what the cops are willing to do in Massachusetts. Also, the offices of the DAs. But you know what? I got to tell you, it's not just Massachusetts. Like, it goes on everywhere. It goes on everywhere. Barry Raven says, mass cases are now a can of worms. All the dirty dealings should be exposed. I know. Hold on a second. Somebody put in the chat that they're asking for a buffer zone on Walsh, and Tiffany sent that to me. So let's take a look at that. So if you're interested in Dennis Bateman, we can get a little deeper into that. And I will read the briefs and then I will summarize them for you. And then we can watch, we can see how much effery is afoot. And then we can watch the SJC arguments on it, because better that one innocent person go free. I mean, better that one guilty person go free than one innocent person has been sitting in jail since 2007. And it just makes me wonder whether any of these people are any of the same players. I don't think so, because this is like Hampshire County, right? And we know that Tully, Fanning, and everybody have all been mostly assigned to Norfolk County, but who knows? Did they move around? I don't know. There was also a third-party culprit, I think, that they didn't investigate. Hang on a second. Dad, do we have the it's none of the same players, he says. Do we have the buffer zone motion in the Dropbox folder? Hold on. I think it's a buffer zone motion. Oh, please. Tiffany sent it to me, but it's okay. He'll email it in 2 minutes. The only thing, Tiffany, is that because they're JPEGs, I can't put them all in one thing and scroll through them. I have to do it each individually, and it just gets difficult. But thank you very much. All right, so Dad's going to email that to me. But in the meantime, let's take a look at least some of the points in the brief for Bateman. So we can at least kind of get a grip on what it is that they're claiming, because I find this very interesting, because we need another person to free. And maybe Dennis Bateman is the one. And Mass Dad, what do you think? Do you think he's innocent? Because I think that I think he knew the girl, right? I've been following, hi, Nurse of Interest, Jackie. I've been following Sandra Birchmore since the very beginning. I have like an entire playlist already on Sandra Birchmore. So if you're not aware of that because you're a new viewer, go back and check it. But I've been covering Sandra Birchmore for a very, very, very long time. A very long time. I don't subscribe to the Boston Herald, big old dog. I don't subscribe to the Boston Herald. So unless somebody screenshots it and sends it to me, I don't think I do anyway. I don't know. Everything's behind a paywall nowadays, and so it becomes very difficult to cover things. Dennis Bateman did know Brandy. Yep. So I'm not sure what's in the Boston Herald today. All right, thank you, Mass Dad. But let's just take a quick look before we get back into the Brian Walsh thing, because we'll do one topic at a time. It makes my time stamping easier because instead of, you know, going back and forth between topics. All right, so here's the brief, the appellant's brief on Bateman. Let's take a look. Just briefly, we'll scroll through and see what we see. So it was Franklin County Superior Court. Is that near Hampshire County? Because I thought I remembered them saying this was in Hampshire County, but I'm not sure. So this is Dennis Bateman's latest appeal. Statement of facts. They've got a statement of this appellate printing is so expensive, and here's why, because there's a very specific format that it has to be in. And so here you've got a beautiful table of contents. We've got a statement of facts. The Sunoco station, April 16th, 2005, Bateman's summary statement to the police, Bateman's second interview, Bateman's statements to others, witness testimony of observations of Bateman on April 16th. Because I think he admitted that he was at that gas station because his car or truck or van or whatever, I think he drove a van, was broken and he had to go to the gas station and he went there and he had like a relationship. He knew the girl. Witness testimony of observations of Bateman, Bateman's forensics, Bateman's alleged admissions to the jailhouse informants, Bateman's access to money, third-party culprit evidence, evidence adduced at the first evidentiary hearing, new evidence, Mark Whalen's withheld statement. So there was a withheld statement that I think has just come to light recently, and that's why they're appealing again. And then here, the discovery of new evidence, audio anomalies. I think they just found two experts to say that the audio recordings were totally edited. Evidence of ineffective assistance regarding exculpatory witnesses. Summary of the argument. And here's their argument broken down in only the table of contents so we can glean something from it. The undisclosed 55-minute segment of Mark Whalen's interview calls into question the justice of Bateman's conviction. Wow. So recently surfaced a 55-minute interview with a witness. That's interesting. Was it hidden in a drawer the same way that the Sally Port footage was hidden in a drawer by Proctor, according to Judge Cannoni? A, the motion judge correctly found that the specifically requested statement was withheld. B, Bateman was prejudiced because the withheld portion of Whalen's interview is exculpatory. The withheld audio supports Bateman's trial defense that police rushed to judgment and were singularly focused on Bateman's guilt while ignoring evidence of his innocence. Whalen insisting Bateman was in Greenfield in the afternoon may have altered the defense decision-making regarding whether to pursue Whalen as a witness. The withheld audio of Whalen's interview makes clear that the police withheld promises, rewards, or inducements to Whalen. Well, you know, because we've learned this recently, at least in the Karen Reed case and others, that if a jailhouse, well, not in Karen Reed because there was no jailhouse informant, but in the Donna Adelson case, let's say, If you're a jailhouse informant and you're promised something like leniency or being able to see your kids or special favors or reduction of your sentence, it must be disclosed by the prosecutor. And I guess they didn't do that here. C, threats to Whalen prove governmental interference that deprive Bateman of his right to present witnesses and to establish a defense. Roman 2, two defense experts' blind analysis of Bateman's recorded interview found the regarding produced, I think this should say recording produced, is not original and shows signs of editing. And this new evidence requires a new trial. The evidence is newly available and qualifies as newly discovered evidence. Alternatively, the failure to consult an expert was ineffective. Defense's experts' blind analyses and concurring opinions, the files are not original and appear edited, requires a new trial. Tear Dad says twice. Oh, nice. They even threatened their own snitch. Is that in this case? One, with two concurring experts following a blind review, opining that the recordings show signs of active editing, a jury should weigh their credibility as this may have made a difference. The new evidence renders the recording of Bateman's 4/20/05 interview unauthentic and inadmissible. Unbelievable, man. Unbelievable, but not. I wish I could say that I'm surprised. Questions raised about police misconduct would have been a real factor in jury deliberations. Cara Laffey saying, this solidifies my thought that Jen's second 911 call was edited. Also, this reminds me of, thank you for reminding me, Cara Laffey, because I often have so much in my head. So I have no time for all that noise on Twitter. But the other case that we found, the case of the murder of Keith Boudreau. I can't believe I remember these things. In Quincy, Keith Boudreau was murdered in a Quincy hockey bar all the way back. I don't remember the exact date. Don't hold me to it. I want to say 2014, 2016, somewhere around there. And a guy named Paul Fahey was charged and convicted in his murder. And here's where it gets weird. We covered this and I had the papers to prove it, but I don't have them right now. Paul Fahey. Yep. Guess who showed up at the Quincy hockey bar and confiscated the entire surveillance system with all the tapes and video recordings of what happened? Fanning and Colleen Crawford. You know what? You can't make it up. You just can't. They went there. They confiscated the entire surveillance system. And at trial, video was shown of Paul Fahey stomping on his head, stomping on the head of Keith Boudreau or something as such like that. Paul Fahey was then sued civilly in a wrongful death case by the family. And Paul Fahey says they edited that video. And I had the papers and I pulled them up. I don't do anything without receipts. You know that. I don't know whatever happened to that motion, but that's something I'm going to have to go back and look into. I'm not kidding you. Because I found this case right around the time where people started pointing out and showing like Department of Corporations or whatever you guys call it in Massachusetts, corporate documents that Fanning and Colleen Crawford had a couple of different businesses together involving video or video altering or video editing. One of those businesses was dissolved the day after Karen Reed was arraigned. Yep. So there's that. So we're no stranger to these types of allegations because we've covered a lot of them. And interesting how all of these things that we've already covered are kind of tying into this, right? With this new evidence, the jury could find the police deliberately manipulated the evidence, which would raise reasonable doubt. Everyone smash the like button while we're thinking of it. Thank you, little cupcake. The evidence calls into question the Commonwealth's theory of the case. The trial evidence was not overwhelming, and this is not cumulative of evidence presented. The manipulation of evidence violated Bateman's right to due process and a fair trial requiring a new trial. Counsel failed to investigate witnesses proving Bateman was not present during the murder. The motion judge erred by declining an evidentiary hearing on the substantial issues regarding the Hamiltons and Whalen's recording. Cumulatively, the errors denied Bateman due process and a fair trial requiring a new trial. And then there's a conclusion and an addendum. And this document is 105 pages long, but I'm going to read it. And I'm going to review it with you. We probably won't read the whole entire thing together, but this can't be a cold read. This is something that I'm going to have to read. And then there's also the Commonwealth's brief. And then there's a reply brief and another reply brief. So I think what I'd like to do is cover all of this on this Bateman case before it is going to be orally argued at the SJC, which is going to be on October 14th. So if you are interested in the Dennis Bateman appeal, please put a 1 in the chat. And that will gauge your interest for me so that I will know if I should do all the heavy lifting here and do all the reading. Hang on. Let's see how many ones we see. Yeah, we're curious, right? And we get curious. Call me Alice because I fall down the rabbit hole and there's no getting me out. Come with me into the rabbit hole. We need distraction. We need distraction. There's so many other people that need to be freed. Karen Reed is free. She's done. She's acquitted. Aidan Carney needs to be freed. He's exercising his First Amendment rights as a journalist, and it is frightening what is going on in the weaponization of that witness intimidation. And he's facing over 100 years in jail. That'll be coming. That's coming. Okay. I don't know who they're going to find to prosecute him now that Cosgrove has quit and Mello has been disqualified in the Lindsay Gattani case. And I don't know who they're going to find to do it. And there's a lot of interest. Good. Okay. Excellent. Thanks, you guys. Thanks for being interested. We also need to free Aaron Spencer, okay? Because what's going on in Arkansas is an abomination of justice, okay? Aaron Spencer needs to be free. Becky Aaron is a big fan of justice and due process. Me too. We're here to help people. We're here to free people. That's why when people send me like, oh, and there's no shade to you at all. Like, oh, do you want to file this trial? Do you want to follow that trial? It's kind of like, obvious that they did it, or like it needs to be like interesting to me. That's why Brian Camp's trial was so interesting to me. And if you did not watch Brian Camp's trial with me, I mean, from what I could cobble together, that is where we discovered Tom Kokanowski, defense attorney. He's become a friend. He's been on the channel a lot. Brian Camp is a kid who was charged with manslaughter in Hampshire County, all the way up there in Hampshire County, because a home invader broke into his house in the middle of the night. And when he woke up, this man was choking him and trying to kill him while he was in bed with his girlfriend, Brooke, and their 2 little girls were sleeping in the bedroom next door. After a long struggle, they got all the way downstairs, and eventually Brian Camp, who's a lot smaller than the guy who tried to kill him, this Jonathan Latender, who happened to be Brooke's boss at Dunkin' Donuts, because you can't make this up. Brooke runs downstairs. She's on the phone with 911. She's on the phone with 911 for like 22 minutes or something. Don't hold me the details right now. Brian Camp finds a rifle or something in the house, like a broken down rifle, and he like is able to shoot the home intruder that's trying to kill him and his whole family. And then he runs outside, and Brooke is talking to 911, and the 911 operator tells Brian Camp to go inside and check on the condition of the home invader. So he goes back in to check on this condition, and the guy gets up like he's going to try and kill him again. So Brian Camp shoots him again. And that's the shot that killed him. And then they decide, the DA's office, Stephen Gagney in Hampshire County, decides to charge Brian Camp. They say, okay, the first shot was fine, but the second shot, no, we're going to try you for that. And it was a short trial, maybe a 4-day trial. Nobody televised it. We got little bits and pieces. We cobbled it together, like with pickup sticks. I mean, and like popsicle sticks, we cobbled it together. And one of our amazing viewers who calls herself Adam Lally's Resignation, and no, that didn't really happen. She's just wishful thinking. Her name is Bo. I said, is anybody in Hampshire County? Because Brian Camp needs people in the courtroom. Bo went to court. She met with Brian Camp. She was like, while the jury was out, he testified. His testimony was amazing because Tom Kokonowski prepped him like nobody's business to testify. And Bo was in the hallway showing Brian Camp videos from Kathy's Gossip, Rumor, and Innuendo, because she was the only other YouTuber, I think, following this case besides me. And that's how she and I met, to kind of make him laugh. And then the family reached out to me and they had watched our coverage. And somebody else reached out to me who happened to be a family member of Jonathan Latender, the guy who broke in, and said, you know, we knew he was a madman. Thank you so much for your sensitive coverage. And so we're doing a thing here. We're doing a thing, and we're bringing attention to the cases that don't have a lot of attention and the cases that people don't want to talk about because they're not popular. But they're not popular because nobody knows about them. So we saw Brian Camp be acquitted. It was a beautiful day. Bo was there in court. We cried, but Brian Camp became our adopted son, our collective adopted son. If you haven't seen it, please go watch it. Please go watch it. It's only about 4 videos long because we couldn't get a lot of info on it. Another amazing trial that we watched was Penny McGee. How many of you were here for Penny McGee? Penny McGee had a bench trial in front of Judge Cannone. Okay. Penny McGee was represented by Larry Tipton. Larry Tipton is Brian Walsh's attorney. Larry Tipton, in my opinion, is the best public defender in Massachusetts. Penny McGee is a woman, mid-50s, I would say, who was divorced from her husband, whose brothers are very rich and very well connected. One of them lives in Greenwich. The other one, I forget where he lives, but hell, a lot of money in the Savitz family. Penny McGee and Andrew Savitz were divorced, but they, for some reason, were still living in the same house. Penny McGee's daughter had a lot of beef with her mom because she thought her mom was the reason for the divorce for whatever reason. And Zuzi, remember Zuzi Savitz's testimony, you guys? And so I got interested in this because I found out it was being tried in front of Judge Cannone. And so we cobbled together again. We watched some of it on Zoom. I don't think any of it was televised. If it was late, whatever. And so Penny McGee was on trial for manslaughter because she had a verbal argument with her ex-husband in the foyer of the home that she was staying in with him. And he dropped dead of a heart attack. She may or may not have shoved him. That is debatable. You can hear Zuzi on the 911 call yelling, "Dad, stop, Dad, stop." But then Zuzi said Zuzi said that the mom pushed the dad, shoved him, whatever. He dies of a heart attack, and at autopsy, he is found to have like a 90% occlusion of both descending arteries. You know, the widowmaker. He's got diabetes. He's got a lot of pre-existing conditions. He had a massive car accident recently. He had some cognitive impairments. He had a lot of pre-existing conditions, and he's died of a heart attack. Well, some whack job and ME came on the stand from Massachusetts and said that, well, you know, it says in our handbook that if 2 people are present and one of them dies, you can call it a homicide. So whatevs. And we saw Judge Cannone from the bench acquit Penny McGee, acquit her outright without taking a timeout, without grave concerns. She didn't even leave the bench. And that was fabulous also. Penny McGee, another trial that nobody really covered, right? That was also Norfolk County. So that's what we're doing here. I don't even know why I went off on that tangent, but he had 2 car accidents, right? Was it in Brookline? Yeah. And we remember we were like, Brookline is Norfolk County. And it is. Yes. You guys watched Penny with me. So what we're doing here, we're doing a thing, and you guys are doing it too. And I love that you guys are doing it too. And you're interested in it. All right, here we go. Let's look at the Walsh buffer zone motion. This was just filed. Well, it's dated September 26th. So it would have been Friday. All right, look, we're like pretty current. We're pretty current on our filings and our things. All right, let me just write the time down for the 150 for the timestamps. All right, we watched Harry Turk too. Yes, we did. Oh, yes, we did. All right, here we go. And yeah, and it was beautiful the way that everyone rallied around Brian Camp. That was so beautiful, wasn't it? Can we be a force for good instead of a force for gossip and evil? And I don't know. I don't know. I think we can. All right, let's take a look. Now remember, Brian Walsh's trial is supposed to start October 20th with jury selection. Will it? I don't know. It remains to be seen. And Robin Rose said, if the brothers didn't contribute to Marcy's campaign, Penny McGee would not have been charged. Was there ever proof of that? Robin, thank you for pointing that out, because they do have a lot of money. A lot of money. The Savitz brothers. And remember the reason, oh, now I know why she was living in the house with Andrew, because the house that she was living in was owned by the brothers, and the brothers kicked her out. They like started eviction proceedings against her because they wanted to sell the house. That's right. It's all coming back to me now. There's a song in there. It's all coming back to me now. Oh my God, really? Kelly Friedland says, M. William Phelps did a podcast on the Bateman case. Search the victim's name and it comes up. Love your channel. I love you, Kelly. But I don't know if I can listen to that man anymore. I mean, I did the Lord's work and I listened to the podcast about Karen and all those crazy people that he interviewed. And I don't know that I could listen to him again. But I'll go through the court documents instead. How's that? Is that okay? Thanks, Kelly. But for anybody else who wants to listen to M. William Phelps again, go for it. Tennessee Jet, I live for her updates. She might be. Oh, we looked at that earlier. Nana Bear says AI has already destroyed the animation industry. It's terrible. It's terrible. Nanya Biz says, oh, Melanie, you have to watch. Same kind of corruption going on to the 80s. This man was tried 4 times and he was finally proven innocent after spending like 27 years in prison. Corrupt Boston police. Can somebody just give me like the TLDR nutshell on that? That's trial 4. Thank you. What happened to the NICU nurse suffering with PPD and psychosis who unalived her kids and then tried to do the same to herself? She's paralyzed now and in jail. Her name's Lindsay Clancy. We're going to get into that too. I don't know what the trial date is on that, Quinn, but I got all the documents and we're going to have to get into that. Lindsay Clancy. Yeah. And it's incredibly disturbing. And also her husband is standing by her and he doesn't want her incarcerated. So yeah, we got to catch up on Lindsay Clancy. All right. Now we turn to Brian Walsh and his motion for order to present juror exposure to extraneous matter from demonstrators at or near Norfolk Superior Court. Well, is anybody going to be demonstrating for Brian Walsh? I have questions. Okay. Okay. Thank you. Clancy is supposed to start February 9th. Okay. Thank you, Live Free 7. All right. Docket number is docket number 185, specially assigned to Justice Diane Frenier. Mastad says, no chance Clancy gets convicted. Such a sad story. Yeah, there's a lot of things about medication and PPD and I don't know. Hold on. Since 2023, Norfolk Superior Court has been the site of demonstrations at and near the courthouse. Well, yeah, that's because that's when Karen Reed's trial started ramping up. And Aidan Carney got involved in reporting on Karen Reed in 2023. The Commonwealth moves that in the event of any demonstration at or near the courthouse, when trial jurors are present, the court issue orders to minimize the possibility of juror exposure to extraneous matter and to ensure that witnesses, attorneys, courthouse personnel, interested friends and family members of the victim and or defendant and the public may enter the courthouse without disturbance. Well, that answers my question because we know that Judge Frenier sits in Plymouth for some reason, but this is a Norfolk County case, and many of the, mostly all of the conferences that have not been in front of Judge Krupp have been in front of Judge Frenier in Plymouth, right? I think it's Plymouth. But the trial is going to be in Norfolk Superior, in the Norfolk Superior Courthouse. So there's that. I think there had been some questions about that. As grounds, when Commonwealth v. Reed was first tried in Norfolk Superior Court from April to July 2024, numerous persons appeared outside of the courthouse. Although a 200-foot buffer zone order was in place, a trial juror in Reed submitted an affidavit averring that during jury deliberations, we could hear protesters outside screaming and yelling. Footnote 1 and 2. See Spicuzza v. Commonwealth for discussion of the circumstances and issuance of the buffer zone order in the Reed matter. And footnote 2, which says the affidavit of juror 10 is paper number 380 in Karen Reed's docket number. False star. What color shirt do Walsh protesters wear? Hacksaw red? I don't know. There's a theory about, about maybe Anna Walsh is alive in Serbia somewhere and he's supposed to take the fall, and then 5 years from now they're going to release a video of her in Serbia alive because she may have been a spy. I don't know if it's true, but listen, I just watched Black Rabbit, and some people have, no qualms about chopping off fingers and stuff. So there's that. I know. Boston Mass 781 says literally no one will be standing out for Brian Walsh. Crossing DC. Yeah. Okay. Moving on. On court dates in the Reed matter after the mistrial, demonstrators appeared at and near the courthouse, including on the steps of Norfolk Superior Court and the Registry of Deeds building, displaying signs and materials advocating for and against the Commonwealth and loudly cheering and screaming. The Reed matter was retried. Sure was. From April to June 2025, demonstrators appeared near the courthouse subject to a buffer zone order. Demonstrators have appeared at and near the courthouse for status dates in the matter of Commonwealth v. Carney, Norfolk Superior Court numbers. Yeah, 2 different case numbers. As of the date of this motion, the Carney matters are ongoing. Oh, I see where he's going with this. He thinks people may be standing out for Aiden during the time that Walsh's trial is going on. And remember, they brought that up during the last hearing. At least Judge Doolin did. Judge Doolin said, let's push your next court date to December because the Brian Walsh trial is starting October 20th. And I think Doolin was thinking it'll probably be over by then. And then therefore, all of your supporters that are packing this giant courtroom in the same building will not be distracting the jury, perhaps. In addition to the Commonwealth having a right to a fair trial, the Commonwealth has an interest in the defendant receiving a fair trial. Spicuzza v. Commonwealth is, you may recall, the separate proceeding that was filed by a couple of private citizens. I think Mark Randazza is the attorney. And they tried to get the buffer zone overruled. And there is case law that says the Commonwealth, as well as the criminal defendant, has the right to a fair trial. And he cites a bunch of case law here. Courts have an obligation to protect the integrity of the judicial process and may take such steps by rule and regulation that will protect its processes from prejudicial outside interferences. As to this matter, the Commonwealth is not aware of any demonstrators intending to appear in favor of or against this defendant or the Commonwealth. However, in the Carney matters or any other matter likely to attract demonstrators, if the Carney matters or any matter likely to attract demonstrators is scheduled for any in-court event during this trial, the demonstrators may appear and thus expose jurors to extraneous matter. If it becomes likely that demonstrators will appear at or near the courthouse, the Commonwealth requests that the court adopt some other mechanism, such as a buffer zone order, to minimize the possibility of jurors being exposed to extraneous matter from demonstrators. An affidavit in support. Oh, an affidavit is submitted in support of this motion. Wow, imagine that. Oh, and this motion is actually made by the Commonwealth. I was mistaken. I thought it was made by Larry Tipton, but it is made by Greg Connor, the ADA, who's, I think, their top dog over there in Norfolk County. He's their best trial guy. And I think he also did not want to touch the Karen Reed second persecution with a 10-foot pole, Greg Connor, because maybe he's got integrity. That'll be my guess. And he knows, Greg Connor knows, that you are supposed to submit an affidavit in support of your motion in the Commonwealth. And unfortunately, Hank Brennan did not know that because he filed so many motions without an affidavit. It was like crazy town. The affidavit says, my name is Tracy Cusick. I've been an assistant ADA since 1999. I was assigned to the Commonwealth v. Lopes. Is it Lopes or Lopez? A homicide that was retried in January through February 2024 in Norfolk Superior Court. Yes, yes, because that was involving the murder of Michael Chesna. He's a police officer, right? Lopes, Emmanuel Lopes, was the defendant. And that case, the first case, ended in a mistrial in front of Judge Cannoni. And then they had to retry it again in January 2024. For the Lopes retrial in January 2024, the jury was impaneled in Bristol County and transported by bus from Bristol County to Norfolk Superior Court each day. The Lopes jury went on a view on a morning when Commonwealth v. Reed was on the 2 p.m. list. The Commonwealth alerted the judge of concerns about the jury being exposed to extraneous matter from demonstrators at and near the courthouse upon return from the view. And the judge was Judge Cannoni, right? Wasn't Judge Cannoni the judge for both of the trials? For Lopez? Okay, so it is Lopez? I don't know. I hear people pronouncing it both ways, but Le Trebadon says it's as in Spanish, Lopez, because it's Portuguese. So that's the way I would have pronounced it. But then I heard a lot of other people saying Lopes, so I wasn't sure. All right. After the view, rather than returning to the courthouse, the judge, court officers, court reporter, and counsel disembarked at another location, and the bus took jurors directly to Bristol County. Upon returning to Norfolk Superior Court after the view, I observed many demonstrators at and near the courthouse, holding signs and wearing clothing, expressing viewpoints for and against the Commonwealth and the Reed defendant. Since July 1, 2024, I have witnessed and have seen media accounts about demonstrators at and near the courthouse on dates when the Reed and or Commonwealth v. Carney, and here's the docket numbers, matters were scheduled. Among other things, demonstrators wore costumes, carried signs, and wore clothing with words expressing viewpoints about the Commonwealth judges and the Reed matter and or the Carney matters. During the Reed retrial from April to June 2025, on days when I was in Dedham Square, I observed varying levels of demonstrators in the area at and near the courthouse. Some witnesses in the Reed and Carney matters are potential witnesses at the trial of this matter. Okay. Let's see, Walsh. Who's involved in Walsh? Oh, Buchanan, Fanning, Proctor, but they've already said they're not going to call Proctor. Who are the other witnesses that I'm trying to think of evidentiary hearing? There were some other law enforcement officers who also testified. Yeah, the MSP gang, that's right. The link below to the Patriot Ledger shows images of people appearing in and around the courthouse in August 2024 during hearing on the Reed matter. The link below to a WCVB report contains images. Well, we've seen them too. We know they exist. And the Boston Globe, XOXO, Tracy Cusick, ADA. And so we will see how that goes. Pinky Promises, thanks for your 20, says possible Crawford and Fanning's business has ring videos of Karen Reed's car to fake John O'Keefe's death, but realized too much attention to follow through. I have no speculation or guesses on that. I have no idea. I do know, and we've learned recently that somebody said, or somebody reached out to me, or I can't remember how I know this, but somebody said that they live in the neighborhood of 34 Fairview, and that they received a phone call that said, listen, law enforcement's looking for ring cam footage. Don't give it to them. Where do we find that? It was in court documents somewhere, I think. Thank you, Pinky's Promises. And so I don't know, but I do know that the dissolution of one of their companies happened like right around the day or the day after her first arraignment in February 2022. Thank you very, very much. There were some other filings in Walsh as well. Let me just take a look and see if there was anything interesting. Thank you, Mass Dad, for sending that to me. Talk amongst yourselves for a second. All right, so also on Walsh, the Commonwealth filed their certificate of compliance on September 5th. I think we did go over these though. The notice of DNA experts, yeah. So they've Bodie Labs is their go-to. Medical experts, remind me. I think we already went over this stuff because this is in my inbox from all the way back, beginning September. And the opposition, and then the appeal was denied, or the permission to appeal was denied. Yeah, and they had a whole list of witnesses they may call from the Massachusetts Police Crime Lab. Yes, we did do that. I recall. Thank you, big old dog, but these are like also JPEGs, so I don't know. And they're kind of out of order, I think. All right. There's something else I was going to show you guys. Hang on. Kate has a question that says, since Krupp made the next hearing October 7th, does Tipton need to ask Frenier to move their motion and trial dates, or will Krupp and Frenier communicate about that? I mean, he's probably going to have to ask. I don't know that they would automatically be communicating, but let me see if there's been any changes to mass courts on dates and when their motions in lemonade are due, because that'll be an interesting thing to cover. But their final pretrial hearing should be coming up. Let me just check my calendar. And it is going to be, yeah, next Tuesday is the final pretrial conference on Walsh. The 7th. So I don't know if it's going to get pushed. I mean, it probably should if they don't have all of Proctor's text messages and communications. And we know that the DA or the ADA has said that they're relevant in these other cases, including Miles King and Brian Walsh. So that could be explosive if Proctor was, out there looking for nudes of Anna Walsh. I mean, I would imagine that was like not the first time he ever did it when he said that in Karen Reed's case. Let me see if there's any new filings in Walsh. General correspondence regarding notice of rejected service of process from New York Life. Thumb drive and summons impounded. I don't know. I'm not sure what that means. New York Life was, I think, the life insurance company for Anna Walsh. Without the document, it's impossible for me to know what that is. Let's see if there's been any date changes. We've got final pretrial conference is still set for October 7th. And then there's also a status that's at 9 a.m. And there's also a 9 a.m. conference in front of Krupp that same day for all of the other cases, including Miles Walsh and Miles King and Brian Walsh. And it still has the trials scheduled for October 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. So that whole week is blocked off. I don't know how long it's going to take them to pick a jury in that case. Any thoughts? Thoughts and prayers? Rooney's mom, Mela, have been blocked from channel, and I don't know why. I'm using another name to message you, sent you an email. I'm not rude in chats or anything. I know YouTube has been taking it upon themselves to block people lately, and I don't have any idea why that is. If you have been blocked and you send me an email, you have to include the link to your channel. I need the actual link. There's no other way for me to fix it. So if you're sending me just a screenshot or just your username, there's no way for me to change it. It keeps happening to people. Like unless people are in here like being jerky or trolling or saying rude things to people or bashing all cops because Scott's NYPD and he gets mad about that. I can't explain to you why it happened, but except that YouTube has a glitch. So if that happened to you, send me an email with your IRL or URL. Yeah, your actual link. And Betteros Mont Blanc, it's fan base at mlittlelaw.com. Wait, I'm just going to delete that message because the spelling was wrong. You got to be smart enough to go down in my show notes and find the email. It's there. I do read them all. I do not respond to them all because, you know, catfishers, all that other stuff. And there were some other people who said they were blocked. And when it happens, I'm alerted why. Again, so Chrissy, Joy Shemahar, without your link, there's nothing I can do for you. Yeah, it's a new thing YouTube is doing. Even Kurt says so. Hi, Kurt. Kim Robinson, again, I don't know. I need your link. I need your link. Just because you sent it to me once doesn't come through when you send it to me again. I don't know what's going on. But I need the actual physical link. And then when I'm not on the air, I'll fix it. And when I fix it, I will tell you that I fixed it, or I would tell you that there's nothing wrong on my end because that happens a lot too. So there's that. Random blocking. I know, it's crazy. Kelsey Fitzsimmons is also October 7th, but I don't think that there's going to be a way to watch that, right? Because it's that's the hearing regarding, is that the dangerousness hearing or the custody hearing, the stuff in the probate court? Custody and the restraining order stuff, because that's not televised. I don't even know if we can get a Zoom on that or if we can get a after the fact like FTR transcript on that. I'm not sure. Okay. I don't know what this is, big old dog. Is this an editorial? Is this a you know, when people send me things cold, like through email, I can't just jump right into covering them because I haven't read them through yet. And so it's just too difficult for me to sometimes just pivot to whatever you're sending me and then wanting me to just like read it, but I'll read it myself. And then if I think I can use it in a future show, I will. So thank you for that. But it's hard for me to just interrupt my flow and try and move on to something else like that. So Rooney's mom, again, send me your email with a link and then we'll take care of it. Yeah, so I forget, is that the probate stuff on Kelsey Fitzsimmons? I also have the appeal on Carly Gregg to go over, and I also have the indictment on Howard Rubin. Do you guys know Howie Rubin? That's a quickie. We can go over that one quick. Let's do Howie Rubin because look, we're only here for 2 hours so far. And Howie Rubin is in some trouble. So, and this might be kind of graphic. There's a little BDSM involved here. So if you have your children in the room, you might want to put their headphones on, put earmuffs on, take me off of any public television, because Howie Rubin has been finally indicted after many civil cases. Now I just got to find out where I put his indictment. Hold on a second. It's a crazy kind. It's kind of like an Epstein story, but if you're a New Yorker, you might know who this guy is. And he's been working with a woman named Jennifer Powers, and she's been arrested. Yes, the guy with the dungeon. I think I've done a lot of redactions on this, so it should be okay. And it's only 13 pages, so we can get through it. But federal court in New York is like hard, going after these guys hard. Going after these guys hard, like P. Diddy, like the Alexander brothers, who we covered. I think we got to get back to the Alexander brothers. And they're not letting these guys go. And Howie Rubin has had a lot of civil cases filed against him by these former Playboy models and people that he would have Jennifer Powers go find for him. And he would have them sign NDAs and stuff like that. And we're going to read the actual indictment, but I think I had an article saved for you, if I can find it, in the New York Post, because the New York Post has quick and easy articles covering all this stuff. Hold on. How did Jess get the audio of Kelsey? Oh, I ordered it too. I ordered it from FTR, but that audio was for the dangerousness hearing. It was in a different court. That was in Superior Court. And this other probate stuff is in like their family court. It's like family and probate court. And so I don't know if that's publicly available. If somebody tells me that it is, I'll order the recording. I don't mind paying for it at all. But Superior Court is available. And some of these have Zooms and some don't, because I remember I called that court and they're like, yeah, we don't do Zoom. We're not set up for Zoom. We don't have any access to Zoom. You have to come in person for Lindsay. So that was what it was with that. Okay, Howard Rubin. Buckle up, buttercups. And if this is triggering for you, maybe you don't want to watch it. So I'm warning you now. Who is Howard Rubin? I guess we should start here. Who is Howard Rubin? The ex-New York City financier with ties to George Soros, who was arrested for allegedly trafficking women. And this just broke, I think it was Friday. So we need to get into reader mode for this because the pop-ups are crazy. Howard Rubin's wife divorced him in 2021 when this kind of broke, but now he's being criminally prosecuted. I think maybe that's when they got served with a couple civil lawsuits. So here he is. Here's Howie Rubin, pictured with his then wife, Mary Henry in 2016. He was arrested just this past Friday on trafficking charges. And there he is. There's Howie. Howie had some pretty dirty secrets and kinks. Former Big Apple financier Howard Rubin was once a high-flying money manager and generous philanthropist with ties to George Soros, whose high-stakes dealings saw him featured in best-selling books like Liar's Poker and The Big Short. Rubin and his wife, Mary Henry, were a power couple, well known in New York City high society for donating big bucks to good causes. such as New York Junior League and Hope for a Cure. But his reputation and glamorous Wall Street career came publicly crashing down almost a decade ago when sickening accusations first surfaced that he had allegedly been abusing women in a secret Manhattan penthouse dungeon. Now, the 70-year-old retired finance bigwig has found himself in cuffs after the Fed slapped him with a slew of trafficking charges over an alleged decade-long scheme in which he recruited and coerced former Playboy models and other women to have with him. Well, so we'll just call it relations. Here's a closer look at the disgraced financier's background. There's that picture again. At the height of his career, Rubin, also known as Howie and H, was raking in the cash, schmoozing his way around the Big Apple's philanthropy circuit and living it up in his multi-million-dollar homes. Rubin grew up in Massachusetts. Well, there's your Massachusetts connection. There's your Massachusetts connection. The son of a researcher for Polaroid in Cambridge, and graduated from Lafayette College with a degree in chemical engineering. After a brief stint as a Vegas card counter, he scored an MBA from Harvard and then turned his attention to Wall Street. Anybody know anybody who ever went to Harvard, or you ever meet anybody who went to Harvard? And they always mention the fact that they went to Harvard within the first 5 minutes of the conversation. Or, you know, when I was in Cambridge, I know him from Harvard. Like, it always comes. I don't know why that is, but you can't make it up because it's true. It's true. He began making dough as a bond trader at Salomon Brothers back in 1983 and steadily started climbing the ranks. At one point, he was working for the Soros Fund Management, the firm created by the billionaire investor. His dealings were featured in best-selling books, including Liar's Poker and The Big Short. There he is again with his wife. Or ex-wife by now. I hope she got half. Rubin's wife, Mary Henry, filed for divorce in 2021 after the sick allegations first came to light. In his personal life, Rubin married Henry, a fellow Wall Streeter, in 1985, and the pair went about becoming well-heeled Manhattanites. Their property portfolio at one point included a multi-million-dollar co-op on the Upper East Side and a $9 million waterfront estate in the Hamptons. In 2013, a Big Apple Society photo captured the then happy couple swanning through a ritzy benefit at the Pierre Hotel. The duo, who have 3 kids together, gave $500,000 to charitable causes in 2015 and 2016, including the New York Junior League and Hope for a Cure. The couple was known for their philanthropy too, having once donated roughly $500,000 to a handful of charities in a single year. But Rubin was slapped with a handful of lawsuits in late 2017 in which multiple women, including Playboy playmates, accused him of paying them to engage in brutal sessions at a BDSM-themed Midtown pad that he rented. Oh, so he had like a dirty stay out place where he didn't live that he just used for his proclivities. Rubin, he would pay the alleged victims. Oh, wait, hold on. Rubin allegedly viciously beat and abused some of the women inside a side room that featured a slew of ropes, chains, and toys, the lawsuit charged. He would pay the alleged victims between $2,000 and $5,000 per session, one suit stated. Rubin denied the claims at the time. Henry filed for divorce in July of 2021 after 36 years of marriage. The allegations surfaced years before he was ultimately picked up by the feds on Friday at his home in Fairfield, Connecticut, on a 10-count indictment for torturing women beyond their consent. Prosecutors allege Rubin ran an extensive network between at least 2009 and 2019, where he recruited women to engage in exchange for money, often relying on force, fraud, and coercion, prosecutors said. Rubin and his assistant, Jennifer Powers, who was also indicted, allegedly spent more than $1 million of his money funding the operation. And that is that. Yeah, I don't know how these people, these rich people, these people who have so much money think that they're just never going to get caught. How is it that they think they're never going to get caught? That nobody's, I mean, it's, and it's, you know, these are grown women, you know, they're not children. They did have safe words. You're going to hear about the safe words, but apparently he didn't care about the safe words. And as Fairy Raven is pointing out, another Ghislaine Maxwell and Biddy Danger says, my mom works there. They're so pretentious. Works where? The Junior League? Where? Kind of like 50 Shades of Grey, but a sicko type, says Susan. Yeah, kinda. All right. Buckle up, buttercups. Here's your warning. Trigger warning. This is the Rubin and Jennifer Powers indictment. It was unsealed on Friday in the U.S. federal court in Brooklyn. United States of America against Howard Rubin, also known as Howie, and H, and Jennifer Powers. That reminds me of, oh, you know what I'm thinking of, I think? Jennifer Flowers. Jennifer Flowers was the one who was allegedly involved with Bill Clinton, right? I don't know why that sounds familiar. Anna Molly says, because when they do get caught, they just buy their way out. Could be. Put your seatbelt light. The seatbelt light is on. Right. I think that's why. Why is the name Jennifer Powers so familiar? I think because I'm thinking of Jennifer Flowers, who was the Clinton person, right? The Bill Clinton allegedly had an affair with Bill Clinton or something as such like that. Well, anyway. What? Dakota girl? JFK is going off with your name. He's live right now and I'm watching it and I'm not understanding what he's saying, but he's saying your name, Nurse Kim's name. What? I don't know anything about that, but I'm not going to pivot over there to watch it. But if you want to watch it and then send me an email or something, you can. I have no idea why he would be talking about me because I met him at the Wilbur. He's very nice to me. So I don't know. I have no idea. All right. So this is the indictment, the grand jury charges. So they were charged by grand jury in federal court. Federal court doesn't play, as you know. Federal court does not play. Introduction. Oh, it was Gary Hart and Jennifer Flowers? I don't know. I don't know. Okay. Here we go. Who is Alan and why is he asking who hurt who? What are you talking about, Alan? Hold on. Get rid of Alan, would you? Can we send Alan to Block Island? If I got to do it, I got to go find it. Hold on. It's really lovely this time of year, Alan. You're going to love it there. So lovely. Stop what I'm doing to give you attention, to send you where you need to be, for attacking people in the chat. So rude. I mean, the fact that you subbed up for 24 hours. Thank you, Scott. The fact that you subbed up for 24 hours just to be able to come in here and troll people is like mind numbing to me. You got a lot of time on your hands, dude. All right. Here's the introduction. At all times relevant to this indictment, unless otherwise indicated, the defendant, Howard Rubin, also known as Howie and H, because I think in some of these text messages, he's going to be called Howie and H, is a retired New York-based financier From at least 2009 to 2019, Rubin recruited dozens of women to engage in commercial S acts with him involving bondage, discipline, dominance, submission, and sadomasochism, BDSM. During many such encounters, Rubin engaged in conduct beyond the scope of the women's consent. From at least 2011 to 2019, the defendant Jennifer Powers facilitated Rubin's commercial S-type encounters. Among other things, Powers recruited women to have commercial S with Rubin, arranged travel and accommodations for women to fly to New York to engage in commercial acts with Rubin, secured non-disclosure agreements from women, procured BDSM toys and instruments for Rubin to use during these acts with women, paid them after their encounters in amounts directed by Rubin, and managed the fallout from women's complaints stemming from the commercial acts with Rubin. I thought I redacted this. Hold on a second, because YouTube AI bots are going to come through and they're going to say this isn't friendly to advertisers, and we've already been on here for hours. So give me a minute while I quickly do this. For the love of the traveling Mary. What just happened? It just froze up on me. There we go. Talk amongst yourselves for a minute. Talk amongst yourselves. You'll see how much it paid. You'll see. It depended on, like what they were doing. And if he didn't like what they were doing, then he would pay them less than the agreed upon price. I think what I'm going to do instead of putting it up on the screen is just read it to you, because there's too much here that YouTube is going to flag. And so we're just going to say it's not friendly to advertisers. I'm going to read it to you. I had the indictment up, so you can trust me that I'm reading you the papers. Okay. Roman 2, the S trafficking and prostitution operations. From approximately 2009 to 19, the defendants Howard Rubin and Jennifer Powers, together with others, operated a network whereby they recruited women, including Jane Does 1 through 10, individuals whose identities are known to the grand jury, to engage in commercial S acts with Rubin. I was going to see if I could find a picture for you of her. Hang on. In exchange for money, which acts involved BDSM. Oh, please. All right. Here is a picture of Jennifer Powers. Put that on the screen while I read this to you. Here's Jennifer Powers. From approximately 2009 to 2019, defendants Howard Rubin, this is Roman 2, the S trafficking and prostitution operations. From approximately 2009 to 2019, the defendants Howard Rubin and Jennifer Powers, together with others, operated a network whereby they recruited women, including Jane Does number 1 through 10, individuals whose identities are known to the grand jury, to engage in commercial S acts with Rubin in exchange for money, which acts involved BDSM. During many of these encounters, Rubin brutalized women's bodies, causing them to fear for their safety and or resulting in significant pain or injuries, which at times required women to seek medical attention. Rubin and Powers spent at least $1 million of Rubin's money operating and maintaining the trafficking network. described herein. Between 2009 to 2011, the commercial S acts primarily occurred at luxury hotels in Manhattan, New York. Beginning in 2011, the defendant Howard Rubin leased a luxury penthouse apartment located near Central Park, New York. I believe it was on 57th Street. The penthouse. Rubin and the defendant, Jennifer Powers, transformed one of the bedrooms in the penthouse into a dungeon, an S dungeon, that was painted red and soundproofed, had a lock on the door, was furnished with BDSM equipment to which women could be strapped and restrained, and contained devices to shock or electrocute them, among other items. Rubin also traveled out of state to engage in commercial S acts with women, including Las Vegas, Nevada. The defendants Howard Rubin and Jennifer Powers, together with others, recruited women, often targeting former Playboy models, whom they found through social media, modeling pages, or high-end prostitution networks, to engage in commercial S acts with Rubin. Rubin and Powers, together with others, materially misrepresented to women the extent, manner, and/or degree to which Rubin would engage in physical and S-type violence. That is Jennifer Powers. I think there's some other photos here. Let's see if we scroll through what else we get. Here's the exterior of where the penthouse was. I was right. It was 146 West 57th Street on Billionaires Row. That's where the penthouse was with the dungeon. And there's Howie in the middle here. That's Cipriani. And here's Jennifer Powers with her husband. He's a DJ. His name is Steve Powers, and you're going to find out through these indictments that Howie was actually supporting them, paying their mortgage, all kinds of other things. And there's Howie again. Put Jennifer Powers back up for now. Because, she's just as guilty as he is, setting these things up, paying these women, having them sign their NDAs and then locking them in a safe. But wait, there's more. For example, in some instances, Rubin provided a safe word that women could say to convey that they wanted the violent S conduct to cease, but then disregarded the safe word when women used it and continued the violent conduct without the women's consent. In other instances, regardless of whether Rubin had provided a safe word, the women were unable to object to Rubin's conduct because they were bound and/or gagged during the encounter. In still other instances, women became unconscious during the encounters such that they were unable to consent. The defendant, Howard Rubin, paid different women for commercial S multiple times a week, sometimes on consecutive days. The defendant, Jennifer Powers, frequently arranged the women's flights to New York, often to LaGuardia or JF Kennedy airports in Queens, New York, and transportation to the penthouse. Facilitated the women's entry with the penthouse building doormen, and coordinated with the women to ensure that their visits to the penthouse did not overlap. After the encounters, Rubin often described the encounters in detail to Powers, who used that information to manage fallout with the women because of Rubin's violence. Additionally, after the encounters, Rubin and/or Powers used Rubin's money to pay the women by wire transfer or a payment service such as PayPal or Venmo. That's how stupid they are. The paper trail. Remember what I told you about the Charlie Sheen documentary? What I learned from the Charlie Sheen documentary was that the reason Charlie Sheen got mixed up in the Heidi Fleiss fallout was because Charlie Sheen used American Express traveler's checks to pay her that day. And she never took traveler's checks, except she did for Charlie. That's how he got ensnared in the Heidi Fleiss web. At times, Powers structured the payments to avoid sending a single transaction of $10,000 or more. Anybody know why? Why you should send in transactions of $10,000 or less? Just put it in the chat. If Rubin was satisfied with the way the women had endured an S-type encounter, The women received $5,000 per encounter. If he was dissatisfied, he paid them several $1,000s less. Taxes, right? It's a red flag for federal tracking, IRS. Anything over $10,000 is flagged to the IRS. You're correct. You guys know. Paragraph 7. The defendants, Howard Rubin and Jennifer Powers, together with others, required the women to sign NDAs, which, among other things, purported to require that the women assume the risk of the hazards and injury of the BDSM encounters with Rubin, prohibit the disclosure of information about the BDSM-S with Rubin, and require the payment of damages in the event of a breach. Rubin and Powers kept a safe in the penthouse where they held a stock of blank NDAs. The women were not provided a copy of the NDA prior to being required to sign it. Moreover, at times, women were only presented the NDA after they had consumed alcohol with Rubin. Paragraph 8. After some of these encounters, women contacted the defendant Jennifer Powers and described what the defendant Howard Rubin had done to them and/or sent images of their injuries. Powers at times assuaged the women by, for example, telling them to ice their injuries or apply bruise cream. Remember the bruise cream in the Amber Heard Johnny Depp trial? The Amica cream, which is supposed to be arnica. Other times, Powers minimized Rubin's behavior by telling the women he was too drunk, or even blaming the women for letting Rubin get too drunk. On various occasions, victims notified Rubin and Powers that Rubin had caused lasting pain and physical injuries to them, including, for example, a woman's breast implant that had flipped upside down and required surgery to fix, or pain, bruising, and discoloration that lasted for weeks, such that the women could not work. And remember, I believe there are 10 women involved in this indictment. And they're not being named, obviously, because they are victims of a sex crime. The defendants, Howard Rubin and Jennifer Powers, together with others, employed coercive, fraudulent, threatening, and deceptive tactics when they recruited, enticed, harbored, transported, provided, obtained, maintained, patronized, and solicited, and paid the women to engage in commercial S acts, including by minimizing the level and nature of the anticipated BDSM encounter. Oops. For example, Rubin and Powers, together with others, A, employed a referral and recruitment system that failed to fully apprise women of what would occur during the commercial S encounters with Rubin, including the manner and degree to which Rubin would physically and SA them, and instead often mischaracterized the nature of the conduct, generally describing it as light fetish play or activity, or omitting that it would include S acts with Rubin. B, obtained consent from women on the basis that they could use a safe word during the encounters, at which Rubin would cease engaging in the objectionable conduct. But then during the subsequent encounter, women were either physically unable to use the safe word due to a gag, or when women used the safe word, Rubin failed to cease the activity, including doing things with foreign objects, to which the women did not or no longer consented, even after they had asked Rubin to stop. It does keep getting worse. C, encouraged women to become intoxicated with alcohol and drugs, such as sedatives, including by providing such substances before the encounters, resulting in the women being unable to consent because of lack of consciousness, and threatened women with legal consequences and public shaming if they sought legal resources. Here, Roman 3, the fraudulent conduct. I think we're safe to put it back up now for a moment. From at least 2018 until 2023, the defendant Howard Rubin funded virtually all aspects of the defendant Jennifer Powers' life, including paying for the following: the rent on her Manhattan apartment, private schooling for her children, her credit card bills, her legal fees associated with the trafficking operation described above, a down payment on her home in Texas, and her mortgage payments totaling approximately $8 million. Well, you know what they say, good help is so hard to find. Just another snark in the tank says most people would have been happy with good dental. Well done, girl. Well done. In or about 2017, the defendants Howard Rubin and Jennifer Powers and others were sued in the U.S. District Court for the Eastern District of New York by women who had engaged in commercial acts with Rubin, requesting millions of dollars in damages. The civil case. Throughout 2018, Rubin was deposed in connection with the civil case, and he also attended the depositions of Powers and all of the plaintiffs, among others. The civil case continued following Rubin's deposition. The civil case continued following Rubin's deposition, and a jury trial commenced on or about March 23rd of 2022 and continued until on or about April 7th of 2022. Rubin testified in that jury trial on or about March 30th of 2022. This is not a fly on your screen. It is my cursor. Do not break your TV and send me a bill. No, but now I can't find my cursor. Where are you? There you are. Okay. In or about 2020, defendant Jennifer Powers relocated to Texas and purchased a home secured by a mortgage co-signed by the defendant Howard Rubin with a financial institution. Well, look at him co-signing for a mortgage for his best girl. The financial institution, an entity, the identity of which is known to the grand jury. Okay, they're not going to tell us who the bank is right now. On or about June 3rd of 2020, while Rubin was in Suffolk County, New York, he was in the Hamptons maybe, he emailed the financial institution a financial statement in support of his petition to co-sign Powers' mortgage. The financial statement was signed by Rubin and dated on or about June 3rd of 2020. In response to the question, quote, "Are you a party to any suit or are there any unsatisfied judgments against you?" Rubin responded no, when in fact he was actively engaged in the civil case. The financial statement further provided that Rubin would notify the financial institution in writing of any material unfavorable change, and that absent such notice, the financial institution could consider the financial statement a continuing statement and substantially correct. Thereafter, the defendant Jennifer Powers' home mortgage was restructured. On or about April 4th of 2022, Powers emailed the financial institution a renewed financial statement signed by the defendant Howard Rubin and dated on or about April 2nd of 2022. Well, remember his wife filed for divorce, I think, did we say in 2021? They were married for 35 years. They probably did not have a prenup or a postnup, and she likely got half of his however many millions or billion-dollar fortune he had. And good on her. The financial statement did not include a correction by Rubin stating that he was a party to a lawsuit, notwithstanding the fact that days earlier he had testified at the jury trial in the civil case. Oh, now you're lying to the banks too, Howie. Oh, Howie. Count 1. S trafficking, Jane Does 1 through 5. In or about between 2015 and 2017, both dates being approximate and inclusive within the Eastern District of New York and elsewhere, defendants Howard Rubin, also known as Howie, and H, and Jennifer Powers, together with others, did knowingly and intentionally recruit, entice, harbor, transport, provide, obtain, maintain, patronize, and solicit by any means one or more persons, to wit, Jane Does 1 through 5, and affecting interstate commerce, and did benefit financially and by receiving anything of value from participation in a venture which engaged in such acts, knowing and in reckless disregard of the fact that means of force, threats of force, fraud, and coercion as described in Title 18 U.S. Code Section 1591E2, and a combination of such means would be used to cause such persons to engage in one or more commercial S-acts, which offense was affected by means of force, threats of force, fraud, and coercion, and a combination of such means. Ms. Jessica MB says, as a prior mortgage loan officer, get a hint. Don't try and defraud banks. Yeah, isn't how they got Anna Delvey too? Anna Delvey, remember, great miniseries called Inventing Anna. I think that's finally how they got Anna Delvey, right? Hold on. Oh, please. First of all, at T12, I didn't call out JFK. Somebody wrote a comment in the chat. I have nothing. I don't even know what JFK was talking about. That was the point. The person said JFK was on the air right now mentioning my name and Nurse Kim's name. And so I don't know what that had to do with. So I'm not going to give any context to something that I have no knowledge of. But thanks so much for your suggestion. What's wrong with people? Can we just get rid of that person for good? Thank you. I don't have time for those kind of people in my chat ever. Inventing Anna was a great miniseries. If you haven't watched it, watch it. It was so good. So good. Where were we? Title 18, blah, blah, blah. Count 2, S trafficking, Jane Doe number 6. Okay, so the first 5 victims are in count 1, and this is count 2 for a separate victim, Jane Doe number 6. The allegation contained in paragraphs 1 through 13 are realleged and incorporated as if fully set forth in this paragraph. In or about 2018, within the District of Nevada, okay, so number 6 is Nevada. Defendant Howard Rubin, also known as Howie and H, together with others, did knowingly and intentionally recruit, entice, harbor, transport, provide, obtain, maintain, patronize, and solicit by any means one or more persons, to wit Jane Doe number 6, in and affecting interstate commerce, and did benefit financially and by receiving anything of value from participation in a venture which engaged in such acts, knowing and in reckless disregard of the facts that means of force, threats of force, fraud, and coercion, as described in Title 18 of the U.S. Code, and a combination of such means would be used to cause such persons to engage in one or more commercial S acts, which offense was effected by means of force, threats of force, fraud, and coercion, blah, blah, blah. Counts 3 through 8, Mann Act transportation. This is how they get them on federal charges. You got to cross state lines, okay? Here we go. Counts 3 through 8, Mann Act transportation. Cupcakes like their drama in the courtroom. Thanks, Barb Mackey, 4142. Should we make a shirt? Cupcakes like their drama in the courtroom. I like that. I like it. Yeah, slice and dice and 10. Rich fox with nothing left in life to be happy about. Choose to inflict control and pain and misery upon others. It's sickening. Yeah, I know. It's like, do you just get bored when you have so much money that you can buy whatever you want, that the power and control is the only thing left for you? I don't know. It's disturbing. In or about between 29 and 2019, both dates being approximate and inclusive within the Eastern District of New York and elsewhere. These 2 people, again, did all of these things knowingly and intentionally transport individuals in interstate commerce with the intent that such individuals engage in prostitution as described below. Oh, and then there's a nice chart. The old-fashioned kind of chart. This didn't come from Canva or anything. This is like WordPerfect. This is like a WordPerfect chart or spreadsheet. And it's got the counts all in the left-hand column. Count 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then the individual, Jane Doe 1, 2, 4, 7, 8, 9. And then the approximate dates that they were transported in the right-hand column, ranging from 2009 all the way until 2019. So a 10-year scam. Diddy was convicted of 2 counts of the Mann Act at Libby. Thank you. Trisha loves a good chart. Shelley says, if you got that much money, then be a philanthropist. Do some good, FFS. Well, they did. Apparently, philanthropy was one of the other things that he did. And he spent a lot more money on philanthropy than he did pay these women, as we will see. Count 9, Mann Act, transportation. The allegations contained in paragraphs 1 through 13, re-alleged, blah, blah, blah. In about 2011, within the Eastern District of New York and elsewhere, the defendant, Howard Rubin, also known as Howie, did knowingly and intentionally transport an individual to wit Jane Doe number 10 in interstate commerce with the intent that such individual engage in prostitution. Count 10, bank fraud. Tom Gully Show says, hey, Rubin, it's philanthropy, not philandering. That's funny. Well done, Tom Gully Show. In or about June 20th and June of 2020 and April of 2022, both dates being approximate and inclusive, within the Eastern District of New York and elsewhere, the defendant, Howard Rubin, together with others, did knowingly and intentionally execute a scheme to defraud the financial institution and to obtain monies, funds, credits, and other property owned by and under the custody and control of such financial institutions by means of materially false and fraudulent pretenses, representations, and promises. Next count, criminal forfeiture allegation as to counts 1 and 2. The United States hereby gives notice. These are a couple of words that you don't want to see. Criminal forfeiture. Okay, ready? The U.S. hereby gives notice to the defendants that upon their conviction of either of the offenses charged in counts 1 or 2, the government will seek forfeiture in accordance with Title 18 of the U.S. Code 1594D of any property, real or personal, that was involved in, used, or intended to be used to commit or facilitate the commission of such offenses, and any property traceable to such property, and B, any property, real or personal, constituting or derived from proceeds obtained directly or indirectly as a result of such offenses, or any property traceable to such property, which means after your conviction will take everything you own, and they may freeze it in the meantime, probably. Dakota Girl said, I wasn't saying JFK was being disrespectful. It was just confusing me. That's all. I'm sorry, Melanie is the best. I was trying to ask a question because I was confused. I know I was confused too. No shade to you, Melanie. Thank you, Melanie. Love Melanie for reading this. Yeah, no worries. I don't know. Without further context, I can't comment on it. Okay. And I just, all of this drama and this distraction is so. And it's not you. I'm not saying that it's you at all. But there's a lot of people out there that like to stir the pot. There's a lot of people that like to keep perpetuating the drama. I'm just not one of them. And so when people come into the chat, not you, Dakota Girl, not you, but that other guy and the other guy before him, I don't need those people here. I don't want them here. I don't need them here. I don't care. Go somewhere else with that. I got no, who's got time for that? Nobody. Not me. It's like middle school. I know it is like middle school. It's so draining. If any of the above describe forfeitable property as a result of any act or omission of the defendants, my thoughts on the recording were at the beginning of the stream. So if you missed it, I'm not going to go through it again, but you are welcome to absolutely go back there and listen to my thoughts. Many of us do not care. Thank you for not doing that stuff. You're welcome. Let's focus on this guy, okay? Howie. Let's focus on Howie Rubin, what he did to women, and maybe Mr. Bateman, maybe Dennis Bateman needs to get freed. Maybe he's been in jail since 2007 for a crime that he did not commit. And by the way, he's also convicted of killing an unborn child. Ain't nobody got time for that. Nobody. Love that meme. I love that lady. Ain't nobody got time for that. If any of the above described forfeitable property as a result of any act or omission of the defendant, defendants cannot be located upon the exercise of due diligence, has been transferred or sold to or deposited with a third party, has been placed beyond the jurisdiction of the court, has been substantially diminished in value, or has been commingled with other property which cannot be divided without difficulty. It is the intent of the United States, pursuant to Title 21 of the U.S. Code, to seek forfeiture of any other property of the defendants up to the value of the forfeitable property described in this forfeiture allegation. So that is a warning to you. Do not transfer your property. Do not try and hide your property. Do not try and sell your property. Make sure you hang on to all your property because we're going to come for it later. And if you do, you'll be up on more charges. Criminal forfeiture allegation as to counts 3 through 9. Same sort of stuff. Repeated over and over again. So I won't read that again to you because it's the same thing on a different page. And then there also criminal forfeiture allegation as to count 10. And there's a true bill signed by the foreperson of the federal grand jury. And it is signed by David. Does that say David Pitlock? Like Pitlock, like potluck, but with an I? Pitlock, Assistant U.S. Attorney, XOXO, Joseph Nocella Jr., U.S. Attorney for the Eastern District of New York. And Howie, I think, wait, is Howie being held? Oh, well, now I need to know, because I think his attorney asked if he could be let out on $25 million bail. And I think the judge was like, yeah, no, but hold please, because now I have to find it. And I have too many tabs open, so just talk amongst yourselves for a minute. Because now I need to know. I think he's being held, right? But wait, hold please. Oh, and Bonnie Blue. Listen, I don't want to say any more about Bonnie Blue. Then if you don't know about Bonnie Blue, don't Google it because you'll never be able to unsee what you see about this woman. And I know all of you are going to go Google it now, but I don't want to talk about Bonnie Blue because I find it to be repulsive, disgusting, and everything else. But apparently, oh, there are some text messages that came out also in the New York Post article that you can, I mean, for example, I'm just going to read this and just say, like, in 2014, one of his alleged victims told Rubin she would take plenty of Valium to endure a BDSM session, noting how she was desperate for money and in a really tough spot, including sleeping on a couch. Rubin later told an unnamed co-conspirator that the woman hated submissive, but she's broke, and she says she'll do anything. She hates it, but she's so desperate, he wrote. According to the feds, we've got to make her cry. Oh, and he was telling, oh yeah, it's gross, but you can look it up in the New York Post and it will tell you the text messages that I just can't even read because I can't unsee them once I've seen them and I just can't. So let's hope that Howie Rubin and Jennifer Powers both, because, you know, they were a team. Yeah, go to the New York Post for that because I don't even want to repeat it. But I just want to know, did he get out of jail? Hold on, let me see if I can find it. Let's see. He was denied bail. All right. The judge voiced concerns that Rubin is a flight risk and that there were attempts to intimidate victims. Yeah. So there's that. This is according to CBS News. He's supposed to appear in front of a judge today. So he pled not guilty, I guess, on Friday. I guess he's supposed to appear in front of a judge today. So I don't know if he has already, but prosecutors believe there may be more victims and are asking people to contact the FBI or call them at 212-384-3300. $3,600. 212-384-3600. So we will follow up on that. I think he also had a whole bunch of money. Oh, the defense argued that Rubin had no criminal history and offered to pay a $25 million bond, but he was denied bail. The judge voiced concerns that Rubin's a flight risk and that there were attempts to intimidate victims. I thought if convicted of the top charge of S trafficking, they face 15 years to life in prison. Bank fraud carries a maximum of 30 years. And I thought I saw somewhere else that he had something like, I don't know, 25 or $30 million offshore somewhere in the like Cayman Islands or something. It's a number from Morgan & Morgan. I don't know. I think that was supposed to be the FBI. That's supposed to be the FBI. If you were a victim of Howie Rubin, I mean, yeah, Howie Rubin, you don't want him to get away, do you? I love how the Eastern District is cracking down on these rich guys who have been able to skate for most of their lives on good looks and a big check, like the Alexander brothers. Because did you guys remember the Alexander brothers? We covered them a long time ago. There's definitely more victims, 100%. Tom Gully says, if you agree to a $25 million bond, you are definitely going to flee. Definitely going to flee. MC says, need another collab with Auntie Deb, please. Also, look at his clip just posted on the cesspool. It's me? Oh. Oh, he did one. It's the bitches that'll get you, right? He did one of that. He also just texted me. Hold on while I just... My God. Oh my God. A shout out to the painter who Auntie Deb, I guess, is in contact with somehow. He says, I go to look at apartment, look at what the painter has on. And the painter is painting the apartment and he's got me on his phone. He's listening to the show. So shout out to the painter who at 2 p.m. today was photographed and filmed by Auntie Deb. Hang on, I'll play this for you, but I don't know if you'll be able to hear the audio, but this is hilarious. Hold on. This is hilarious. Hold on, you got to see this. If it'll play for you, it may not. Sometimes, you just can't make it up because the world is so small. The world is so small. I don't know. There's no way for me to like play the audio, but trust me that the painter actually, like if I put it on QuickTime, are you going to be able to see it? Let's see. Share whole window. Hold on. That's really funny. I love when that happens. I don't know how to do it because it won't share audio because it's like in photos or something, but it's very funny. So thank you to Auntie Deb for sending that to me. And so there's that. Hey, painter, do you paint penthouses? I don't know, but that's pretty funny because he was listening to me on his phone. So shout out to that guy. Also, I don't want to put his picture on my show if he didn't want us to like disclose his identity. You never know who's watching. He was not. He was kneeling on the floor. He was kneeling on the floor. He was not on a ladder or a scaffolding. But that's pretty funny. But let me see if it, hold on. Hold, please. Oh, no, he put it up. Oh, he did put it up. It's on Twitter. Okay. He had texted it to me. That's why I couldn't play it. Okay. All right. Hold on. Hold on a second. There's never a dull moment on this channel. So if you're not subscribed, like, I don't know what you're doing. Like, what are you doing? Because it's free. All you gotta do is all you gotta do is smash the subscribe button. That's all you gotta do. It's free. And because we have so many trolls in here, as you can see on the daily, we set the subscriber only chat. Here he is. Here's the painter. Shout out. And you're gonna hear Auntie Deb speak. So listen.
Hello. Yeah. Hello. Yeah.
There's me on the phone. How funny is that?
Yeah.
I could hear my own voice. Shout out to the painter
Hello.
who stumbled upon my gay best friend, Auntie Deb, this morning, listening to me. You never know. And then he posted this, I don't know when, a couple days ago. And he just captioned it, infinite wisdom. You got to see this. Hold on. Because he's my gay best friend. And he knows it. All it says is infinite wisdom. And there's the bitches that'll get you every single time. It's the bitches that'll get you. It's the bitches that'll get you every single time. It's the bitches that'll get you. It's the bitches that'll get you. Do you remember when I said that? Who remembers when I said that? Does anyone remember when I said that? I do. I remember exactly when I said that. Do you remember what episode that was? So funny. So funny. I know, maybe a t-shirt. Yes, do you remember? Tell me. What episode was it? No. No. It was during I was talking to Turtle Boy. That was during my Turtle Boy interview. That is right. That is right. I was giving him some motherly advice and I said, you know what they say? It's the bitches that'll get you every single time. Sorry, Jessica. You remember. So there's that. It was my Turtle Boy interview. How about that, eh? All right. Thoughts, questions, comments, concerns before we wrap it up for the day, because mentally exhausting. It's mentally exhausting with all the drama. That's why I don't pay attention to it. People are telling me it's fakes. Sarah, thank you so very much. If you're Venmo, she says trial 4 was hard to get into, but I committed to it. And once I got through the first episode, it was well worth it. I would say, try it again. Okay, I will. It's just that I just don't have that much free time. And I feel like it was a lot of episodes. And I was like, just don't have the time for that many episodes. And sometimes I just want to watch something funny. Sometimes I don't want to deal with court cases. And I don't want to deal with all of the drama and the true crime stuff. And I just want to laugh. Although I did watch the season premiere of SVU, which I think was from Thursday. I think I just was able to watch that finally last night. So there's that. Shout out to the painter. Shout out to the painter. David says, was it in the YouTube presentation titled Ruining Colin Albert's Life found in the intent folder? Yes. Maybe that's where it was, or in the intent folder, ruining Jennifer McCabe's life or ruining somebody else's. I did watch Black Rabbit. Did you watch it? Equestrian 100. It's really good. It's really good. I liked it. Yes, Jessica. Oh, I don't want to give any spoilers, but there's a little interaction between Benson and Stabler in this episode. So watch it. It's the premiere of season, I don't know, what are they on now? Season 27. Oh, also Auntie Deb. I said to Auntie Deb yesterday when I was in a group chat with him and Jimmy and Kimmy. I said, you guys, everyone wants to do the Golden Bachelor. Do you want to do it? And Jimmy actually said that I think his niece is forcing him to watch it. Yes. Lucy, shout out to Lucy. Lucy, if you're watching, that Lucy It's forcing him to watch it. He hasn't watched it yet, but he's going to watch it. And then we can discuss The Golden Bachelor, because I feel like it's so funny that we just need to do it. And like, who could do it better than us? Nobody. Nobody. Yes. Did you watch Stabler? Law and Order Organized Crime is also, oh, it started? Yeah. Where is it though? It lives on Peacock, Robin, right? I've auditioned for that show so many times. And let me tell you something. I feel like maybe we could start a campaign for me to be cast as Elliot Stabler's new like girlfriend, love interest. I don't know. I'm just saying, put it out there, put it out into the universe. You never know what could happen. My knee locked and I can't straighten it and it hurts. Oh, you watched it on CBS? What was on? No. First of all, it's NBC. And that's the old season, I think. You're watching the old season. The new season, I think, is on Peacock. And I don't know if it's out yet. House of Guinness? What is that? It's good, but it's hard to hear the people. It was too low volume. I don't know what House of Guinness is. Is that a TV show? Shelly, no, we've been talking about The Golden Bachelor. I'm like, first of all, what was up with the lady with 100 hats? Okay. She only had, the only thing they could say about her, she had no career, no anything, owns 100 hats. And then the woman who came out of the limo with a puppet and was talking to him with the puppet. And there's so much, that yoga instructor that was making out with him in front of all the other girls. Like, she didn't care. She didn't care. No one said, we lost our beloved Savannah on September 19th. I'm so sorry. If you can spare your time, please share Savannah's story. If you can, Savannah. Salome, 18 of Dighton, Mass. Just Google her name. Is she your daughter? Oh my God, I'm so sorry. Hold on. I'll Google it right now. Thank you for your 10, and I'm very, very, very sorry for your loss. Oh, I'm so sorry. She was killed in a car crash. I'm so, so sorry. "18 years old. Died after the Toyota Tacoma she was driving hit the front porch of a home at 168 Tremont Street." Well, prayers up to you. That should not happen to anybody's child. That is not the natural order of things. And here's a picture. Oh, gorgeous. Prayers up for no one. That's no one's username. 18 years old. Prayers up. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. There are no words for something like this other than to say, heaven just got a whole lot more awesome. That is the only thing that I can ever think of to say in horrible, tragic situations like this. And I'm so sorry. Precocent pro-dom of 10 years here. My industry despises predators like this and fight to keep them from hiding amongst us. Okay. All right. So we got to get him. We got to get Howie, right? I mean, there are consensual relationships, right, that are fine. You know, I'm not here to kink shame or anything else. But when it crosses the line into criminal behavior, it's a big problem for a professional like you. We Ride at Dawn says, could you give your thoughts on the motion by the defense in the Diddy trial to throw out the Mann Act? I could, except I haven't read it. And I have not been covering Diddy at all. So I can't give you my thoughts right off the cuff here because I have not at all read it. So thank you, We Ride at Dawn. But that case is so involved that it's very hard to just cover such as like that. Hang on, Kim Robinson, I'll take care of you right now. I don't know why. I don't know why it keeps happening to you. What are your thoughts on it? Tell me your thoughts on it, but without reading it. I just can't. It's a lot of reading. Hang on. Joy, that is not the correct link that you sent me. So that link does not work. Try again. All right, my friends, tomorrow. I know Nicole has to go. She's the yoga instructor, right, Mary? Dave Neal on YouTube is a great Bachelor channel. He's so funny. Is he the one who was covering the girl whose name we're not allowed to say, who used to be on Gossip Girl case? And I think he was covering that for a little while, right? And then did he get a subpoena or something? I don't know. But I know who he is. I know who he is. That's funny. There's a new series called Rainmaker. It's a law show. Where's that? What's that on CPU Mod 1? Where's Rainmaker? Well, Rainmaker was a John Grisham novel that was made into a movie. And the movie, wasn't that with Tom Cruise? Hold on. I mean, because that was a really good movie. Did they remake it again as a series? I'll look it up. I have IMDb Pro. Okay. Oh, it's Blumhouse. Love Blumhouse. I love everything that Blumhouse does. Oh, yeah. This is based on the 1995 novel by John Grisham. Series follows a young lawyer who finds himself trapped by the dangerous firm that has hired him. Yeah. I'm just, where is it? Blumhouse. Oh, it's on CBS. Is it on CBS proper? Like it's a network show. Okay. All right. Let's see. It's going to be how many episodes? It's going to be 10 episodes. And the first episode, oh, it started airing like August 15th. How did I not hear of this? Thank you for telling me. I guess I can go find it on whatever streamer it is. The Rainmaker, the original movie. Oops. Wasn't that Tom Cruise? No, I got to look it up. Yeah, it was Francis Ford Coppola. It was a 1997 movie, and it was starring Michael Douglas. Wait for it. Matt Damon. Wow, this is an all-star cast. Matt Damon, Claire Danes, Danny DeVito, John Voight, Mickey Rourke, Virginia Madsen, Mary Kay Place, Roy Scheider, Danny Glover. Okay, this one is Matt Damon, but Tom Cruise has been in a John Grisham movie, at least one or two. So there's that. He was in The Firm. That's what it was. Tom Cruise, The Firm was a great movie. Also, Devil's Advocate was another great movie. That's another great lawyer movie. If anybody hasn't seen that. That was with, that's one of my favorites. The Devil's Advocate. Let's see. Right? Was that what it was called? Is that like De Niro, Pacino, or one of them? I always get them confused. Hold on. Was that not the name of it? Because it's not coming up right away. It was like De Niro or Pacino, Keanu Reeves. That's what it was. Keanu Reeves, Al Pacino, and Keanu Reeves. Yeah. Was it called The Devil's Advocate, though, or was it called something else? That was good and creepy. Cruise was in The Firm. That's what it was. Okay. All good choices if you need something to watch. All right. We're at 3.5 hours now. I'm getting tired. So I'm gonna call it a day for now. Thank you so much for coming to hang out with me today and for being so awesome and kind to each other and for trying to keep your head above the fray. And remember, you can always go back to the beginning of the stream and listen to me read Desiderata to you over and over and over again in case you need a little bring me down to earth moment. And, Go placidly amid the noise and haste. Okay? And remember what peace there may be in silence. Stay cool, stay kind, stay classy. Thanks to the moderators. It's always a difficult thing. It's always a difficult thing, but let's come back tomorrow, like around 10 a.m. and go over the Carly Gregg appeal and see what else we can find to talk about. There's always stuff. There's always stuff popping off. So we can do that. Be nice to each other. And peace. Peace.